I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com show, a weekly geek news podcast that is a part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 473 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast / show / whatever you decide you want to call us. This is recorded live on Sunday, January 9th, 2022. I'm Chris. It was all snowy and crappy here. It is now just rain, so everything is turning into mud and grossness, and it makes me sad inside. But I'm here, ready to podcast, share some geeky news and facts and information with folks. And I also want to say good morning to my fellow co-hosts. We'll first start with Mr. Willie D. Nelson.
That's me.
That is you.
Hey, it's Willie here. How you doing today this morning? You doing fine? You doing great? You doing wonderful? I'm happy to hear it.
I'm doing great, Willie.
Why'd you do that?
I thought I had the double screen set up, but evidently it is not set up correctly.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm just saying, hey, everyone, how's it going? I'm glad to be here. Glad you're here. Glad I'm here. Hey, let's go and have a great morning, everybody. Sunday.
Well, there you go. Willie's here. He's glad we're all here and wants us to have a great morning. You heard it here first. But joining me also, Mr. Anthony Bachman.
I just want to say hello to the forehead of security. We now know that Willie's in charge. All right.
Here's the forehead.
Wouldn't it be more worrisome if I didn't have a forehead?
It's an Iron Man reference.
You're happy is what we're saying. You're happy Hogan.
You're happy Hogan.
I'd be John Favreau. I don't mind that at all. He's in my favorite sports movie of all time, The Replacements.
Fuck yes, that's a great movie. He's also, the guy that partnered with Dave Filoni to arguably save Star Wars.
Yeah, the new I'm the captain meme that I saw that I loved was the guy going, John Favreau is George Lucas now.
Well, I would argue Dave Filoni, but they're a good team.
I do argue. Yeah, because Filoni is like the heir apparent. He is the prince of Star Wars. Like Lucas is gone, and everything Filoni touches is amazing. Well, but like, John Favreau is writing some damn good Star Wars.
It's like them together make a great cohesive.
Yes,
is what you're saying. Well, kind of like Mark Miller and why is his name off the top? Matthew Vaughn. When they get together and make a movie, oh, it's so good.
You get a beautiful baby movie.
Mwah. Kingsman. Mwah, mwah.
The Kingsman should be out now too.
Kingsman.
Yeah, wait. I believe it when I actually am sitting my ass in the theater. Like, it's actually out. I'm actually watching it. It's been about a year and a half, 2 years now.
So it's
supposed to come out.
There's a guy on Twitter that I've interacted and chatted with a lot. I don't remember how I found him, but he goes and watches a lot of movies, has a lot of movie takes. He went to go see it today in England, so they're 6-8 hours ahead of us. He was the only person in the theater, so I was like, that's a bad sign. That's probably not a great sign. But of course, they're also in a similar situation to us where they're in the throes of the Omicron variant going through and wrecking face. So there's also that not helping people go to movies as well.
Wasn't the Omicron variant everywhere?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, what was it I'd asked him about it? I said, how did you like the movie? And he goes, it was all right. Much less comedic than the other two. So that was also what I had gotten from the trailers, looked to be less focused on having funny moments and more serious. And I'm not 100% sure that that's what I want, because what I enjoyed about the Kingsman movies was the mix of comedy with action and ridiculous stunts and camera work and things like that. So
Eggsy. Yeah. That's what I liked about it. That actor, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Taron Egerton, I think is his name.
Yep. Egerton.
He got to play Sir Elton John in the Rocket Man movie.
Mm-hmm. And the Eagle. Mm-hmm. He was Eddie the Eagle.
He was Eddie the Eagle.
Yeah, good actor. I'm glad he's still doing things.
Yeah.
God, because Kingsman will always hold a special place in my heart.
Why is that, Willie?
I'd heard so much negative stuff about the Kingsman that on my birthday we went and saw Spider-Man No Way Home again instead of seeing the Kingsman.
Kingsman.
The Kingsman.
The King's dude.
You know what? I like that better. The King's dude.
I can allow
Actually, actually, knowing what we know of what Kingsman is, a spy movie, and saying the King's dude, that reminds me of that movie, Bachman, you'll probably more likely remember it, If Looks Could Kill.
Oh, hell yeah. That's one of my favorite movies ever. That is the best. It's the best thing Richard Grieco ever did. I mean, I liked him on 21 Jump Street, but let's be honest. The best thing he ever did was If Looks Could Kill.
Yeah, I love that movie. That was a great parody of a spy movie.
If Ferris Bueller became James Bond, like they figured out how to put that into a movie, and it was so fucking entertaining. Yeah, that movie was great.
Yeah, with the little suction cup shoes so he could be Spider-Man.
Yep, and the weird the scorpion scene where the scorpion gets in the chick's dress and she's just freaking out. And he's like, "What? I didn't do nothing."
We know you're a high schooler. You won't do anything.
So while we're talking movies, quick question for you guys: should I spend the $20 for Ghostbusters Afterlife because I see it's available to stream now? I want to see it.
Yes.
Is it worthwhile?
Absolutely.
Is that to own or to rent?
To own.
You enjoy the first two Ghostbusters movies, correct?
Yes, I do.
You need to own the third one.
That's fair.
I will guarantee you the $20 back if you don't like it.
It is $20 on the Google Play Store right now. So
yeah, I'll give you a money back guarantee if you don't enjoy the hell out of that movie, especially the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, for those that aren't aware, Ghostbusters Afterlife, buy 4K, $19.99.
Do you hate Paul Rudd?
Who the hell hates Paul Rudd?
No one's allowed to hate Paul Rudd. Yeah.
Nobody hates Paul Rudd.
It's like the 36th Amendment, right?
Yeah, no one is allowed to hate Paul Rudd. Actually,
I guess a random number. Is there actual 36th Amendment? I don't fucking know.
No, we're in the 20s. But yeah, so the 36th Amendment could be that no one is allowed to hate Paul Rudd.
Yeah, it'll be in the future.
37th Amendment's going to have to be something about Kevin Smith, though.
The 35th one is the where they introduced the Purge. 36th one protects Paul Rudd from the Purge.
And you can't purge Paul Rudd.
You can't purge Paul Rudd. There we go.
There's our episode title.
Yep,
no, I mean, you literally can't because he will murder your ass. So this will protect everyone else.
But yeah, no, I will put a money back guarantee on it. If you enjoyed the first two Ghostbusters at all, you will love Afterlife. And it's a ballsy move for Jason Reitman, who had always said, I'm not going to do any follow-up to any of my dad's films. For him to finally, because like Kevin Smith talked about on his podcast, like they were over visiting one day and he's like, yeah, I want to show you something. It's the next thing I'm working on. And I guess he showed him like a still of like the Ecto-1 that they were building in the garage. And he's like, wait, really? He's like, yeah, I'm doing it. I finally figured out a story that made sense. Because yeah, when you grow up like on the set of Ghostbusters and your dad is Ivan Reitman, who made some of the greatest films ever, and you decide, oh, I've been directing movies and having fun, but I'm going to go make a sequel to my dad's Ghostbuster franchise, that's a ballsy thing. Like, that could have failed so easily. And instead, he, figured out a great storyline, got solid actors, put them in good positions, directed the hell out of it, and then hit you with a fucking dose of nostalgia at the end of it that, like, could, choke a horse. Like, it's so good. And yeah, it's a solid film.
It's on my list to see. I wanted to see it when it was in theaters. I just couldn't make it work. The only one I was able to make work was Spider-Man. Realistically, I probably could have made Ghostbusters work then, but I just didn't want to go back to the theater because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the corona. No, actually, I'm afraid of the idiots there who think it's their point to do whatever the hell they want and put everyone else at risk.
Exactly. Like the new T-shirt I saw on Twitter yesterday that I want to get that says, I'm double vaccinated and wearing a mask because I have trust issues and y'all nasty.
Yeah, I saw that one too. It's accurate.
I was like, that's a good shirt. Yeah, I have trust issues. I don't trust y'all motherfuckers. I couldn't get back in the military because of my lungs. I'm afraid I get this shit. I get this shit that might kill my ass. I got weak lungs.
Well, I mean, the good thing, at least speaking for myself, is and for most folks, as long as you've gotten the 2, you're okay, it seems like. And if you've been boosted and gotten the booster already, it seems like that seems to do a pretty good job of preventing hospitalization in severe instances of it. We're not scientists. I just read a lot of news articles and research on the fact. And what was it I was reading? That Omicron doesn't settle in the lungs like the previous variants did or something to that effect. So your lungs are hopefully less at risk from what I've read. Again, not a scientist. I'm an engineer by trade, not a scientist.
Because I've had
I just play one on TV.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
And I have stayed in the Holiday Inn Express before.
It's not fun to get brick dust in your lungs.
No, I don't imagine it would be.
Yeah, I think part of my problem was it was actually asbestos that was in a building that was taken apart when I was in the Navy. And yeah, they were tearing a building down next to where our barracks were. So that shit was in the air.
Yep, that
breathing in asbestos.
Yeah, you can really feel it coming in the air tonight.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Phil. I'm gonna
That's
call you
my friend Phil.
For the day. No, you're Phil now.
No, I saw my buddy Phil last night. I mean, that's funny because because his name's not actually Phil, we all just call him Phil. So that's actually funny that you're calling me Phil because I'm not Phil.
You're
right,
Phil too.
Yeah. See, me and Phil were good buddies, and they want to make a koozie, like a little beer koozie, with our faces on it, and they want to say "Philin' Willie Good." That's what they wanted to say with our faces on it.
How much of a cut do you get off that?
Love and admiration.
So if they start selling, you don't get any money out of it.
I mean, we'll talk about that when it comes to it, but until then, it's just between friends.
Well, I'm
you guys are friends.
I'm glad you're feeling Willie good. Nothing.
You'd have to pay me a lot of money to be feeling Willie.
I've hugged Willie. He's a good hugger.
I'm a great hugger. You should
see
see how
man.
I'm a good cuddler too.
I haven't cuddled with Willie, so I can't speak to that.
Big old hairy of a man. Keep you warm at night.
So what you're saying is you're one hell of a bear.
Yeah.
We'll call you the Willie Bear.
I'm happy with it. Some people say you know what? I'm not going there. I'm just. This is a rare moment. This is a rare moment.
Stopped himself.
Wow.
I'm retracting something before I even say it because I know it's gonna be bad.
What the hell?
And it's not. Yeah, it's not even worth it. So this is a show first. I'm stifling myself.
Wow.
For all of you.
I'm impressed.
I am too, Willie. Well done.
I am shocked.
New year, new Willie.
I'm impressed. Was that your New Year's resolution? Was to stifle yourself?
No, who the fuck does New Year's resolutions?
I don't know. I didn't do any.
I loved Emo Phillips. He put his out, I think, yesterday on Twitter. It said his New Year's resolution was to work on his timing. So he did it on January 8th.
If I were doing it, my resolution would be try and make it through 2022.
Yeah, I think that's the only resolution we need is, just to try to make it through the year.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do the same thing I do every year. I fight death. Usually I win. Maybe this year might be Death's winter year. I don't know. But you got to earn it, motherfucker.
What if death only wins a little bit and like takes your arm or something like that? Kills your arm.
I'm just saying, in the long run, Death's undefeated, man.
He takes my arm. I want to take that arm. I'm going to shove it right up his bony ass.
Who says death's a he?
I think death doesn't have a gender since, in my mind, it's just bones.
It's fair.
I mean, you can tell male and female.
I was going to say that,
bones.
What do the hips look like on them bones?
But this is an ethereal specter that we're talking about. Does it really need a gender? Is it fucking another skeleton to make more deaths? I mean, if you really think about it, does it need one? Like, if there is a god, does it need a gender? No, it doesn't, because it's just the one.
We gender things because that's what humans do.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, one. I put up two fingers.
It's just the one.
Why, I have one on each finger, or one on each hand, but man, you get what I'm saying, the one. It doesn't make sense. There's just one. Why you have to have a
It's just them ones. I got them different ones here.
It's a flock of ones right here.
The funniest statement I ever heard was someone who I think they were from like the Boston area or somewhere like that. I was working third shift at a grocery store, and there was a gang of mopeders that came in during third shift. It was weird. It was like at 1:30 in the morning. And that was weird. A gang of mopeders. Where do you? Okay, sure. And then one of the stalkers standing next to me as we were looking at it is like, "Hey, look at all those persons out there." And I was like, "Yeah, that is a lot of." Wait, did you just say persons?
He doesn't know.
You know, let's just go. Just
people.
No, persons. It's persons, Bachman. Persons.
Yeah, there's a word for that. It's called people.
So you add an S to it. It's persons. This is how English works, right?
Humans. We'll just call them humans.
You pluralize something by adding an S. You also, to make it possessive, you add an S.
With an apostrophe.
Mises.
Unless you're talking about someone whose name ends in an S and then you add the apostrophe after the S.
Well, that's in
Suggesting for
written
possessive.
language. I'm talking about spoken language.
That's fair.
Because, I mean, do you pronounce the apostrophe? Why are you thinking so hard on this? No, you don't, obviously.
I'm trying to figure out a way to do it to be contrarian. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I'm all for that. I'll argue with y'all till the live long day.
No, it's no fun now.
No, I love arguing. Fuck
no
you.
It's no fun. You ruined it. You ruined
like
it by
I do
calling
with
me out.
everything. I do that with everything.
Willie, I'm sad now.
That's why I'm Willie the Ruiner.
Willie, I'm sad.
Like what's their name? Oh God, Ghostbusters. Gozer the Defiler.
The Destroyer.
I know. I like what I said better though.
That's all right.
I mean,
You're allowed to be wrong.
I mean,
Oh,
not gonna lie.
shit.
They got that. They got that sexy Sting kind of face going on.
Oh yeah. Plus, if I remember correctly, there's a character in the new Ghostbusters that I guess Chris is probably going to watch tonight. That's
Olivia Wilde.
uncredited. Oh, did you already know that?
Yeah, I
Damn
already
it.
know it.
Well, that sucks. I was going to see if you could guess who it was.
I wasn't really worried about spoilers for Ghostbusters, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, when I saw the movie in theater, I did not know that's who that was, because it's a hell of a makeup job.
Yeah, I saw photos of her on set because they were talking about the makeup job that went into it. I was like, damn, you can sort of tell, but not very. I mean, that's only because I knew.
Yeah, it's impressive. And then especially like when you see it with under lighting and effects and stuff, like you can't tell the actress that's under all of that. Like it's impressive. She did some good work, because it's like, I don't know who or what that is, but it's Gozer.
Gozer the Gozerian.
So, are you named after the society, or is the society named after you?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
No, because then they're gonna try and fight me as a god, and that's not cool, man. I don't got god powers. Can you give me god powers first, and then we can fight? That'd be cool.
Well, I mean,
Like, give me some more I can use my imagination. Like a Green Lantern. Except I'll do it better because I won't just like big fist.
well, if
like-
you know the song to Imagination Land, you can get there. And since you're a daywalker or a real person, you can manipulate it how you want. So sing the Imagination Land song, and you can go.
I mean,
there.
I haven't seen it in I don't even know how many years, but it's Imagination or something like that.
That's part of it, but the song is very long, Willie.
I don't remember. Was that the PSP episode?
No, there's a different one. That's when Kenny goes to heaven.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm mixing up heaven and imagination. Ooh, who would have thought? That joke just wrote itself, didn't it?
It happens.
No, but seriously, it's been a long time since I saw either of those
That's fair.
episodes.
That's fair. They are available on HBO Max if you have that now.
I do.
He does. But the problem is the mini movies they've been doing are only available on Paramount Plus, which is
Yeah,
really
that's why I paused there. I was like, wait, isn't it on Paramount Plus? What is it? Wait, why are they separated? Doesn't make
because
sense.
they made the deal with Comedy Central, which is owned by Paramount, for the renewal of the show, and they also made a side deal for 13 mini stories or mini movies or something like that, which we've gotten 2, which have been pretty freaking funny.
So no more show.
No, there's still the show too.
Well, when's the show coming out? It hasn't come out for like 3 years, hasn't it?
It's been like a year.
Did I watch the
Dude,
last
this is
season?
how South Park works. They do like 8 episodes, and then they do a bunch of other weird shit before they do another 8 episodes, because the seasons are
can't blame
relatively
them.
short. I can't either.
Yeah, fuck it. Keep it simple. It only takes us a week to make this shit. Let's fucking just deal with that then.
Yeah. I imagine these little movies they did took longer, but did you guys see the post-pandemic special?
Is
The
that
second
the
one?
second? Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
it. Oh, I thought there was a follow-up question to it.
I didn't hear if Bachman had seen it or not, so I
Oh,
didn't want to
no.
spoil.
Yeah, I have not. Go ahead and spoil it.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm so far behind on
South
any
Park.
South Park stuff. Yeah,
Carb-
it doesn't
Fart
matter.
jokes, man.
Cartman, the Cartman ending is controversial amongst many fans. There's a lot of people that feel sorry for Cartman, and I'm like, the dude made a kid eat his parents. Why are you feeling sorry for Cartman?
Yeah, what happened to him in the end? I'm trying to remember.
So if you remember, the Cartman of the future originally was happily married, converted to Judaism, was a rabbi, had like 3 kids. When they fixed the future, Cartman's an alcoholic that lives on the streets.
Oh yeah.
No, that's funny. Yeah. Look,
why is it kind
see how I instantly laughed? That's funny.
Yeah, fuck Cartman. He's a piece of shit. Who
Right.
cares?
That's what I didn't understand is like if you go on the South Park subreddit, there's a bunch of people like, I feel kind of bad for Cartman. I'm like, the dude made a kid eat his parents. Why are you gonna feel bad for Eric Cartman?
Yeah.
He's so shitty. The whole thing started with him getting an anal probe, and it was hilarious. Cartman's a piece of shit. Deal with it.
He's a real McMurray.
I'm going home.
That's what made it funny was that Cartman ended up losing and all of that because everyone was all weirded out that Cartman was happy to begin with.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well, they thought it was not real.
Well, they thought it was a long con also.
I mean, I still think it was.
It's possible. Who knows? It doesn't really matter now because that future's gone.
And this also proves that Team Cap is where it's at because Iron Man is even wrong, even in the end game. Like, we need to make sure to save everybody. We can't change. No, fuck you. We doing it back. Just turn it back. I don't fucking care. I don't love you 9,000 or where the fuck that number was. I don't give a shit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't give a
I'm
shit.
very confused right now.
The little kid with the Iron Man, like, I know
3,000.
Yeah,
3,000.
his daughter.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Yeah.
Getting rid of all of it. We're resetting. Back
Cheeseburgers,
to where,
motherfucker. Cheeseburgers.
Oh, they didn't start enjoying cheeseburgers till after the blip? What the fuck was... Okay.
That wasn't the point.
But the point also shouldn't be that you wipe out everyone that came into being after the blip just to fix everything.
Yeah.
Tony Stark is right. You don't...
No, Thanos was right. Now you're adding even more people. Now you're right. Now you're bringing back the other half with even more people.
You know, after living through a pandemic for 2 years, I am starting to think that Thanos might have been a little right.
I'm just saying.
Team Cap and Thanos was right. What are we doing here?
But Team Cap wasn't right.
I'm sorry, how was it not right?
Because Cap was going to bring them back whatever it took, whether that wiped out the people or not that came into being.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Team Cap back in the original.
Oh, Team Cap was wrong too. They had to be held accountable.
How were they wrong?
Well, look what happened when they went to go do their own thing and how much property damage happened. Do you know how many people Captain America
talked about?
Captain America Civil War.
I know, but which part?
Okay, so there's multiple parts we can look at. Let's see when Cap goes to save Bucky. How many people does he injure and kill on the highway because he needs a car and stuff like that?
Well, that was mostly because of the chase. We have a high-speed chase.
Yeah.
And then also a diplomat comes in and also throws a wrench in there. That's also on him too.
Yeah, so...
Just because you have diplomatic immunity.
How many Swiss special forces or police officers did Captain America severely wound because he decided to insert himself into the middle of this situation?
Well, how many of them were about to kill him?
Do we know that nobody got killed? Captain America's a pretty strong dude.
That's not what I said at all. I said, how do we know they weren't trying to kill him as well?
We do know that simply from the part where Bucky chucks a dude over the railing. Cap catches him and looks at him like, really? Because we know Cap saved that guy, and so we know he was probably pulling his punches on those human soldiers.
And what about the people in the highway that were involved in the car wrecks that they caused, or the collapse of the tunnel and things like that?
Germany.
Here is the thing. Wait.
Yeah.
These people.
Fuck those motorists.
Okay, but the problem here, where Tony is right, and I can't believe we're going back all of these years again to do this right now, is they weren't thinking about anything besides, I've got to go get Bucky. They weren't thinking about, how do we contain this properly? Let's go back to the original Avengers, where they're talking about protecting people, getting people out, keeping the Chitauri contained, and things like that. None of that happened in Civil War.
All right. If Captain America wasn't there when Bucky was getting arrested, how many more of them would have been dead? More than what was.
Because they went there to kill Bucky, not capture him. And Bucky would have killed all of them motherfuckers. He would have ripped all their arms off and beat them to death.
More people lived.
They all would have died.
Captain America was there.
He would have had he been triggered. If you look at what Bucky was doing, he was just trying to escape.
Yeah.
Yes. And he was doing that by any means necessary.
Yeah, if need be, he'd have killed every one of them soldiers, where Cap was just hurting them.
I got a metal arm. I'm using it, bitch.
Yeah, Bucky was straight putting people through walls.
Look, all I'm saying is, neither one of them's 100% right, but the fact that the heroes need to have some kind of check on them, they're sort of right, because they were their own little club that was doing whatever the F they wanted.
Oh, okay. And here's another reason why Team Iron Man is wrong, because who was in charge of it? Thunderbolt Ross. Are you seriously going to have him in charge of that?
Well, no. Willie, the United Nations was in charge of the Sokovia Accords, not Thunderbolt Ross.
United Nations. I saw Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah, that's who the face of it was.
And just like the registration thing in the comics, once again, Iron Man was wrong, Cap was right. Team Cap forever. And going to bow to the will.
About Thunderbolt Ross, though?
The
Thunderbolt Ross wasn't in charge.
Help somebody, then that means you can't help somebody.
He was the one talking like he was in charge, being the face of it, talking to them.
It has the goddamn United Nations emblem on the cover of the Sokovia Accords that Captain America never fucking read to know what was in them.
I'm sorry. How many Nazis did the UN kill? None, because they didn't exist.
What?
That is the most non sequitur argument
Captain America
ever.
Killed more Nazis than the UN ever has.
Yeah, and Captain America killed more Nazis than Tony Stark because Tony Stark wasn't alive. What's your point?
That once again makes Cap better than Tony.
Tony wasn't alive. How's he going to kill Nazis?
How many people have?
He figured out time travel, didn't he? Wait, no. Tony Stark figured out time travel and still has killed 0 Nazis. Cap's a better hero.
Deadpool even went back and shot baby Hitler. That's canon.
You weren't ready for that argument, were you?
But the way time travel works in the MCU, it wouldn't have worked. It would have just created multiple branching timelines.
Well, that's a different argument. He still could have killed himself somehow.
And then the TVA would have pruned that because it wasn't the holy timeline. Therefore,
they had to keep Iron Man being wrong.
They had to keep Iron Man from going back in the past and undoing a bunch of stuff. And now he's dead, so he can't go back in time.
Good. No more. Yeah. He can't kill
that does
Nazis
make time travel tough.
Because you're always wrong. And he didn't figure out time travel. He figured out the rest of the formula. He saw a part of it. And
which figured out time travel.
Yeah,
he pretty much, what he did, what he got was one of those paint by numbers. And he painted by the numbers. That's what happened.
That's a very oversimplification.
Oh, I know.
All he was given was that it was a possibility. So he was told, hey, this can work. And so knowing that, he did figure out time travel. He figured out how to safely enter and leave the time stream through the quantum burst, because all you have to do is add the word quantum to anything, and you can basically do anything you want in science in the MCU.
We should also point out that this is an argument we should have been having years ago. Most people that are watching and listening now are like...
I just had a thought, though. With the whole snapping thing, wow, they really, really hated Ant-Man and his family, because all 3 of them got dusted. They said, no, all of them. Get the fuck out of here. What's his nuts?
Well, yeah, it was the only way to leave Scott in
the quantum realm.
In the quantum realm was, to have...
gotta get rid of all those motherfuckers.
Well, they didn't kill his daughter, though.
But, it wasn't his family, because, his daughter grew up.
Scott Lang.
Yeah. It was the original Ant-Man, the original Wasp, and the current Wasp.
Pym, yeah. Hey, all the Pyms are gone.
Like, the Pyms got nailed. The Pyms got
all
hit
of them
hard.
are just gone. That's what I meant by it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Hank Pym, Van Dyne, both of them. Was it Van Dyne?
Yes. It was Hope and Janet.
Both of them gone. Or all 3 of them. Like, Jesus, they really hated their family. Really hated it. Yeah, Scott Lang just can't catch a fucking break.
Well, that's his shtick, much like Peter Parker and the Parker Luck. They never catch a break.
He's Rodney Dangerfield. It's no respect.
But then, we proved that Parker is a better hero than Tony, so it's all good.
No one ever disputed that.
Scott Lang has more heart.
In fact, Tony wanted him to be a better hero than him. What's your point?
Oh,
that's all about Homecoming right there.
Hero?
I'm sorry, what?
Was Tony a hero?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give him that he's a hero. He was just a hugely egotistical hero.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Ego doesn't determine whether you're a hero or not.
I don't know. Wanting the world to know you saved the world versus just saving the world, I think makes someone a better hero.
I still say Iron Man 3 should have ended with the line, instead of him saying, I am Iron Man, should have said, I am Tony Stark. Would have been better.
Oh, for Iron Man 3?
Yep. It should have ended with the
But
Iron
the
Man
point
movie
was he
should have
learned
ended
he's
with him.
the point was he learned he's the hero with or without the armor. He doesn't need the armor.
So once again, I am Tony Stark. I am not Iron Man. I am Tony Stark.
Yeah, but there's
all this is me.
But there's a dichotomy when it comes to superheroes. They see themselves as themselves and themselves as the hero. They're not necessarily one single entity in a lot of superheroes' minds. Like, do you think Peter Parker sees himself as Peter Parker all the time or Spider-Man all the time? No, he changes based off of whether he's wearing the mask. And
that's all based in the superhero psychology, where you have the weird shit where, like, Batman doesn't see himself as Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is a fake character he puts on to be people, but all day long he is Batman. Where Superman is always Superman. He just pretends to be Clark.
We can't ask somebody.
Actually, I would argue that Superman sees himself as Clark all the time, and Superman as the character he portrays.
What's his name? Phoenix
That
Jones?
could be argued, depending
we can
who's
ask
writing
him.
it. We can ask Phoenix Jones.
We can ask him. How do you see? Do you see yourself as
the superhero of Seattle?
His name. He just used his name as his thing.
I thought he stopped doing that.
Well, I mean, but he still did it. That's the whole point. We can ask, like, do you think yourself as yourself within the mask, or do you think yourself as that as that being?
Why don't you tweet him and find out? I'm sure he's got a Twitter. Everyone does.
Because I don't use Twitter.
Well, you got to use your Twitter and find out.
I don't use Facebook. I don't use social media.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find
use
this
your
out.
Twitter.
Last time I used Twitter was the Clueless cast, or the Clueless Willie. I think. I don't remember. I'll tell you what. That boy ain't right.
Oh, that's true.
That's true indeed.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
I didn't have a good transition, so I just hit the damn button so we could roll into the news of the week. That part of the show where we run down what's in our minds. Some of the most interesting geeky or nerdy news to have popped up. Willie, what you doing over there? You looked all excited.
I'm laughing.
Why are you laughing?
That said of funny.
You're not going to share with the class?
Oh, you said you didn't have a good transition. I was like, no shit.
I think everyone can agree on that.
But I said it in jest, not to make fun.
I got distracted. I think we got distracted arguing about a movie that's 6 or 7 years old at this point in time, that we probably made the same arguments on this show 6 or 7 years ago.
Well, depending on how many more months you give it, it could be 7 years.
Well, as we were just talking about nostalgia, everybody loves nostalgia, so we'll just re-argue Civil War every 6 to 7 years, give everybody that nostalgia kick.
I guess we got that.
I know you're wrong, but I mean, I guess we can keep talking.
You know I'm wrong.
I know you're wrong because you're Team Iron Man. Duh. But we're not. We're in the news of the week. We're out of that. So we're just gonna end on you being wrong. Sorry, Chris.
Willie believing that I'm wrong. We'll just leave it at that.
No, I don't believe I know.
Sorry, Chris. I'll tell you. Tony Stark was right in Civil War 2.
I didn't like that book that much.
Yeah. Goddamn thought cop Carol Danvers trying to punish people for stuff they might do.
Yeah, I already read that in Minority Report, so I didn't really need to see it in a Marvel comic.
When I heard you say thought cop, I was thinking THOT.
That's a very different story. That's a very different story.
Are here. Stop twerking.
That's a very different story. Story.
We were talking about movies before we got into the news of the week. We're going to keep talking about movies now. There's an interesting story I pulled from Polygon.com, so I'll do some quotes from it as we go through it. The headline being, Matrix Resolutions Black Widow Piracy Kills Hope for Day of Streaming Releases. Now, we've kind of gotten used to this model mostly due to the pandemic, that a lot of these movies that are in theaters now, we're getting it the same day. For instance, an HBO Max for some movies, like Matrix Resurrections, excuse me.
Yeah.
And
it's their fault for naming all the sequels with an R word.
Right.
Like, it's, yeah.
Makes my brain hurt.
Yeah.
We saw it with Black Widow being released on Disney streaming, 60 days after it's out in theaters and things like that. And there have been some questions now of, well, what did this mean for box office numbers and things like that? So we do know for a fact that these movies were torrented and pirated as soon as they're made available on stream, because that's how piracy works. As soon as people have a good way to get it, they're going to find a way to pirate it and put it out there. There was new analysis from Deadline that shows, and I'm going to quote from the article here, a new analysis from Deadline shows that generally when studios have tried to dominate home screens and theaters during the box office, they end up with neither. Deadline looked at the 30-day home viewership of movies from a third-party data group called Samba TV and put them next to each movie's box office. Now, Samba TV is a tool that's put on televisions and various smart boxes to kind of track what you're watching and be able to pull metrics. So it's not a perfect solution because it doesn't work with, say, your iPads or your tablets or your cell phones because it doesn't exist there. It's really only on TVs and some smart boxes. So the numbers aren't perfect, but they allow us to get some trends and look at it here.
So it's more like a more high-tech version of the Nielsen ratings where you literally would have to fill out paperwork of what you watched.
And I think the way this works is, according to this, it's in 3 million households, the Samba measurements of smart TV viewership, and they query every 5 minutes to figure out what you're watching and then report back in so they can kind of get an idea of what you're watching, how long you watch it, things like that. They say Black Widow is perhaps the most infamous of day-and-date releases from the pandemic. The premiere access netted Disney $60 million. That was, you paid $30 to buy the movie, contributing to an opening that earned the company over $200 million. But Black Widow soon provided Disney with a headache, which we all know culminated in the lawsuit with Scarlett Johansson. And in the second week of release, it had a 67% drop in the box office, the largest of any MCU movie. Now, movie theaters have argued that piracy probably played a big part in this. I would also argue that, the pandemic and people not wanting to go to theaters and waiting to get positive word of mouth may have contributed more. But I also don't run a movie theater business, so my thoughts and feelings aren't invested in keeping that running. Now, they did also note that pristine digital copies of Black Widow became available within minutes of the premiere access release. The letter that was written by an organization also said it was the same case seen for Wonder Woman 1984, Godzilla vs. Kong, Cruella, and Mortal Kombat. So again, this gets us back to that trend of as soon as it becomes available on one of these streaming services, even if you're paying $30 extra to watch it, that's great for the person that did that. But if they're a pirate, how many people are going to download the copy that they then pirate, basically, and put out there? And the argument is there is lost revenue that could result from that. They're not wrong. Deadline's piece stated that by December 2021, sources in the know informed us that Black Widow had been pirated more than 20 million times. That's close to an estimated $600 million loss on Black Widow in the Disney Plus premium video on-demand revenue alone. That math assumes one pirated viewer equals one viewer who would have bought a ticket, which isn't 100% accurate, but allows you to see a trend and make an estimate nonetheless. Now we're talking about Matrix Resurrections, the next movie they pulled some metrics for. Its second week drop-off in box office was almost as substantial as Black Widow, dropping 64%. The article notes that HBO Max's problems extended beyond Resurrections because we saw Will Smith's King Richard, Clint Eastwood's Cry Macho, both doing poorly in streaming and box office subscriptions. They continue to note another metric worth noting is subscriptions. After all, if a movie bombs in theaters and gets pirated a million times, but you get viewers hooked into your walled garden of content, it might not be considered a total wash. They say from this perspective, Resurrections fared a little bit better. Might have been helped by TV shows like Succession and a Sex and the City sequel. The service had a growth of 4.4 million subscribers in Q4 2021. I will say I was part of that growth because when I swapped cell phone plans, I lost HBO Max. When December came around, I signed up again because I wanted to watch Matrix Resurrections. They do point out that Disney Plus's subscriber growth has been slow recently, only 2.1 new million subscribers in Q4, a window that Black Widow was released in. And they are expecting some stagnation from a streaming service, but who knows? So I guess the argument here they're making is that if you look at the number of times these things have been pirated and you try and apply the math to that, there's a lot more money that could have been made And I think the argument they're hinging things on, and this is the movie theater's perspective, which is probably partially right, is the fact that you put this on a streaming service made it easier for someone to pirate, which then contributed to less people purchasing it on a streaming service or subscribing to get it versus going online and getting the movie. Now, that being said, we've been around a while, the three of us. We've watched a lot of movies. We've lived through a lot of different eras of the internet when it came to internet piracy. There's illegal copies of movies up pretty much the same day they release all the time. The difference is you go back to 2003 when you wanted to watch The Matrix Reloaded. It was someone sitting there with a video camera recording it, so it was a terrible rip. Whereas nowadays, you're still getting pretty pristine copies that people are ripping off from the movie theaters somehow and putting up online. Piracy is a problem. Yes.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is, it's the same digital file that the theater has is just being copied before it even gets played in the theater, and it's available on pirate wherever.
Whatever your pirate site of choice may be.
It's still, I mean, I would argue they may be right that having it go day and date on streaming services makes it easier to pirate because they're not having to like pay somebody off at the theater to get a copy of, the flash drives that they send movies around on now. It probably makes it easier because you can literally just hit play and then hit, start, recording your screen and the audio, and bam, you have a file that you can share, within 2 hours of the movie being available. So it probably does make it easier, but I hate to admit it, but I've seen some really good digital copies of movies that came out the day the movie hit theaters, and the only way anybody could have got that is if somebody at a theater sold it.
Look, pirates are going to pirate. That's just the way it is. If you make it easier for them to pirate, it'll get out there sooner. You can make an argument that I think is fair that by releasing these movies digitally on Disney Plus or HBO Max or things like that, you make it easier for a pirate to get a copy or more pirates to get a copy and then spread it. But it's not going to stop necessarily. And for instance, let's talk Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm not going to spoil it, but I got spoiled because people took Spider-Man No Way Home footage and it was pristine copies on YouTube the day the movie came out here in the United States. That showed up in my recommended features, curated by Google, a bunch of pirated clips directly from the movie itself. And I clicked on one of them after the fact when I'd seen the movie because I was curious. The quality, while not perfect, was still surprisingly good quality. And this is what got uploaded to YouTube. Not necessarily what you would find on your piracy site of choice and things like that. It was surprisingly good quality. And if you go and look at people on, say, the Marvel Studios subreddit who like to make fan videos and stuff like that, they've already started doing, fan music videos and fan videos that have footage from Spider-Man No Way Home in it. And you look at that footage and you can tell it's not as good as the other stuff in there, but you're like, this is still pretty good, which is presumably bootleg footage they got somehow to make their fan video. It's not hard, and it's out there. I think that this made it easier and made a convenient scapegoat for the movie theaters to be like, oh my God, this is going to take more of our money. We're going to blame the streaming services so that hopefully we can slow the train. Train ain't stopping. I mean, we've seen HBO Max has said they're going to do more movies, not all of their movies, but more movies in 2022 that are direct release on HBO Max at the same time. In fact, it's a higher tier if you want to get that. You can either pay the $9.99 a month to get some commercials and none of these new release movies, or pay $15 a month and get no commercials and day and date movies. They're advertising their service based off of being able to watch movies in your house instead of going to the movie theater. And I'm sure Disney Plus will continue doing some kind of hybrid model of some kind, especially if the pandemic starts ticking back up, because people, while the box office numbers show a crap load of people went to go see Spider-Man, I don't know how long that lasts with movies that aren't Spider-Man. Let's put it that way, where people are going to go into the movie theater if numbers are ticking up.
The same number of people are not going to see either Morbius or Doctor Strange.
Morbius got delayed again too.
True. So so Morbius has already been delayed, right? But I'm saying we got two movies coming out of coming right after a Spider-Man movie where there's a slight connection to both. Where Morbius is literally a Spider-Man villain. He's in that Sony Spider-Man villain universe where they still don't have a Spider-Man, which is fucking weird. But he is a Spider-Man villain, and it's a world where Venom gets mentioned. Apparently, he meets the Vulture from the Tom Holland universe, which that's even more confusing now after No Way Home. But yeah, it is a Spider-Man adjacent film, and then we got Doctor Strange dealing with the multiverse of badness after a movie that dealt with the multiverse and Spider-Man. So both of them have a connection to what is right now, the new movie getting close to joining the $2 billion club. Like it's it's made more money than everything that doesn't have the word Avengers or Avatar in the title at this point. Like it's done damn well, but neither one of those movies is going to do that much money. But,
Are they really doing the higher tier for HBO Max?
They are.
I mean, the movies were not why I signed up for HBO Max.
Well, they also linked it to commercials too, or ads. So if you don't buy the higher level one, you're going to get ads. That's
Fuck
more.
Ads. I don't want them.
Well, I mean, if you have the right ad blocker built into your router, you can tend to dodge most of them. Like I have the ad-supported version of Peacock that comes with my internet subscription. Rather, the ad blocker that's built into my router that I turn on blocks 90% of the ads and commercials on Peacock. So like I don't see any commercials on it. It's built into the router itself. I didn't actually.
Do you just
bought the router specifically for that?
No, it was just a nice perk with the router.
So do you just get like a black screen and no audio for 30 seconds while the commercial is playing?
It doesn't even go to commercial break.
It skips it.
It just skips it because there's no ad to serve. Because it blocks the place that serves the ads. Now, it doesn't always work with Peacock, but about 90% of the time it works with Peacock, which is kind of a nice side benefit. Not that I really watch Peacock a ton, but it's a service that they gave me as part of my internet subscription. So I've noticed it from time to time when I was watching something, like, there's no commercials in this. And then other times I'd turn it on and you would see the commercial breaks show up on like the progress indicator. And when that happens, if I back out and then restart the video, most of the time the commercials go away. So it's really strange. It's whatever is built in as the ad blocker on my router has done a pretty good job of preventing that from happening.
Yeah. I never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You told us this before, Chris. You've been holding out?
I mean, I don't know that you're necessarily going to want to buy a whole mesh Wi-Fi setup just to not have commercials on Peacock.
Yes!
Okay. Well, then...
we just had the ad-free version of HBO Max. I didn't actually know there was an ad version.
I think it's relatively new.
The whole reason I got HBO Max was for Doom Patrol. That's fair. I'm so happy.
What about Young Justice? Did you watch that yet?
No.
Fuck you, Willie. Fuck you.
Why?
Willie, you watch Young Justice.
Do I have
Chris,
to?
you go watch Fifth Element, and then both of you can shut the fuck up.
No.
Chris? His answer's my answer.
Willie should want to watch it because it's good, not because I tell him to.
Same.
Cool story, bro.
Uh-huh.
It's your story.
But that's it for my news, and it was a bit long, a bit convoluted, but the whole thought here is the movie theaters are blaming the streaming services for down numbers and conveniently forgetting that, hey, yeah, the last year and a half of movie releases have also occurred during a pandemic where people who may normally want to go to the theaters realize, I can subscribe to this service or see it, or going, I ain't going to the movie theater and getting Corona, I'm pirating this shit, which has also led to an uptick, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely sure of that.
Yeah.
Because, the whole... Go ahead.
I was gonna say I've paid to see Spider-Man: No Way Home twice in the theater. We watched Matrix Resurrections at home. Like, I wasn't paying to go see that in the theater when it's on HBO Max the same day. Like, why would I go pay for a theater ticket for that? I already have HBO Max.
I'm sure you guys have heard the old saying, like, give people access to it and they won't pirate it. Like, give them easy access. And easy access, where you can pay for it and stuff. You put the barrier where you have to go to the theater. That's a barrier. You have to sit with other people. Like, I don't like these people. Or you have easy access at home. They do it. But I'm guessing because of the whole pandemic thing is still going. Because people, because people just want to go to the theater and watch Spider-Man No Way Home without sitting next to weird people right next to them.
Convenience is the big key to all of this. Convenience trumps fidelity is something we've said before on here, which is if you make it easy for me to be able to watch something, I'm going to watch it via the path of least resistance. So if it's on streaming service X that I subscribe to and I have to just hit a button, that's a lot easier than loading the kids in the car, going to the movie theater, grabbing tickets, finding our seats, sitting through 6,000 previews and commercials, watching the movie, getting back in the car, driving back home, which hitting one button on a streaming service is also easier than knowing what the right pirating site is to get the right torrent, to get the right copy of the movie that has not the wrong subtitles or something like that. So if you give me an easy way to legitimately watch something, I'm going to take that path because human beings want to take the simplest path to be able to consume this stuff. Most of us. There are the people that their cheapness trumps everything, and that is what it is. Yeah. And that's why you have some people that pirate in that case, I'm sure. I'm not condoning it, but that's probably what goes on there, which is I don't want to spend the $60 of taking my entire family to the theater to see Spider-Man. I'm going to steal it off of Pirate Website X or something like that.
Well, I mean, we know that, Game of Thrones was the most pirated show in the world until you could actually buy seasons on like Amazon and stuff. I mean, it was still being pirated, but I know those fucking numbers dropped once it was available to buy. Because for a while, if you didn't have HBO, you just couldn't fucking watch it. So and people were like, well, then I'm going to steal it.
I don't think there's a direct apples to apples comparison. Well, let's do apples to oranges here, which is the most buzzworthy show HBO's had in the recent years is Succession. Everyone's talking about it all the time, that it's supposed to be really good. I wonder... And at this point, it streams the same day, I think, on HBO Max as it releases on HBO. Like, I think at the same time it releases, they then unlock it on HBO Max. So I would wonder what the piracy numbers for Succession are compared to the number of people that stream it or something like that. I think that you would see that the piracy numbers dropped a bunch because you made it easy for someone to be able to go and watch it that same day. They pay their $15 a month or $10 a month, hit the play button on their app, and it's there versus waiting for it to appear on the piracy website. And I don't think it's a great comparison to Game of Thrones because Game of Thrones was a cultural phenomenon that all sorts of people were talking about, had huge numbers.
But also back then you had to have a subscription to HBO because there was no HBO Max, right? So you had to have cable and you had to have HBO to be able to watch Game of Thrones. And so it was behind barriers where people were like, if I could just buy the season, I would just buy it. And as soon as those seasons were available, they sold like gangbusters.
Yeah. So I think that's part of what it comes down to. And new movies is a very different thing than new TV shows because we've kind of been trained to expect at this point in time that, hey, this new show aired. That means it'll be on streaming service the next day for me to be able to buy if I want to.
Yeah.
Or it'll be on Hulu or it'll be on whatever your streaming service of choice is. So we're kind of used to that. We're not there with movies yet because everything is still built around we want to showcase this in a movie theater for 60 days, 90 days or whatever, and then release it to streaming as part of our normal model of when we release a movie for home use or home sale.
I wonder if the pirated numbers of the copies of Black Widow, I wonder if Scarlett Johansson's lawyers had those numbers when they went into court.
I'm sure. But again, those numbers don't necessarily come into what their contract dispute was, which was everything she had was based off of box office in her contract and didn't account for the Disney Plus model.
Yeah, I'm just saying those numbers definitely would have helped them. It's like, oh, here we can show that the movie's been stolen 20 million times.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Harder to do if it wasn't on streaming service, if it wasn't on Disney Plus, possibly.
Yeah, but the argument was she should get a cut of what Disney Plus did. So I don't know that really helps or hinders.
Why all Disney contracts are going to be different now because all contracts got to be COVID proof going forward.
You ain't wrong.
Ain't wrong.
That's my news, though. We're going to throw things over to Mr. Nelson, who wants to talk to us about Days Gone. Mr. Willie, what you got for us?
Technically, I'm not talking to you about Days Gone. I'm talking to you about the director of Days Gone. He kind of put his foot in his mouth a while back by pretty much blaming gamers for Days Gone not doing well enough. He pretty much said, "Oh, all you people just wait for it to go on sale or to buy it used. Our game didn't do well enough because of you guys doing that. Well, if you guys just paid full price for it, well, if you make a good game, people are going to want to play it." Now, for all intents and purposes, it was a good game. Just wasn't my type of game, but I could see that how someone could have fun in that. It just wasn't for me. But people didn't agree with that. So your problem here is you. But that was what happened earlier. Now he's back again, complaining. Just complaining more. Saying, blaming Sony for not getting a second game in Days Gone. And it hurts because he pulled in another Sony exclusive that was, I believe, Bachman's Game of the Year, even though it didn't come out this year. Yeah, well, it's only been out. That's weird because it's only been out a year.
Yeah,
it's only been out
like
1
Game of the
year.
Year 3 years running.
He was that excited ahead of time. He voted for it.
It's that damn good.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I should have probably said this guy's name is Jeff Ross. Yeah, and he was saying like, yeah, we sold more than Ghost of Tsushima, which was the Game of the Year 3 years running. Yeah, it sold more than that, and blah blah, just complaining about it when his numbers were wrong apparently. Yeah. He was getting his numbers from something that tracks how many people played it through trophies.
Okay.
Which is, I'm guessing, you could do by, I guess there's usually always a trophy or an achievement at the very beginning of a game by doing the most simplest, easy thing. You press start, like in the Simpsons movie game.
Yeah.
You press start, you get an achievement or a trophy. Something to that effect. So I'm guessing that, but that also does not account for people who bought the game used, yeah, there's just so it makes no sense. This dude's just putting his foot in his mouth, and then he came in and he said, well, yeah, the numbers I got were from the site. I thought it was good enough. Stop complaining, dude. You need to stop complaining, man. Your game, it was okay to me. It didn't catch my attention. The writing was shit tier in my eyes. I don't give a fuck about this biker dude and his scientist girlfriend wife. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. I mean, it was a cool idea, but it needed to be workshopped some more. I just don't. He's just complaining, blaming everyone but the game itself for its failures.
I was gonna say, because I'm pretty sure Days Gone, didn't it just go free on PlayStation Plus?
Okay,
a couple months ago.
A couple things on that. Technically, the game isn't free because you have to pay the subscription to PlayStation Plus to get it. Like Games Pass, those games aren't free, right?
Well, I'm saying we got it added to our libraries free like 2 months ago, right?
Yes, with the paid subscription.
Yes,
that was like a couple of weeks ago, or a couple months. Sorry, months ago. Yeah. That's when I downloaded and finally played it. It's like, okay, and that's when he first said, "Oh, Carter complaining, like, all these people buying it used or through PS Plus. If you just bought it, we would have a sequel."
Well, I'm saying that's when I got it added to my library. Still haven't even downloaded and played it because I'm too busy playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, you mean the one that Days Gone outsold? Well, if it did, even if it did outsell, you were out before Ghost of Tsushima. So.
Was this the game that Sam Witwer was the main character in, that was voice acting or modeled after him?
Who's that?
He was the Secret Apprentice in the Force Unleashed games. He's Darth Maul's voice. Starkiller. He was in.
I don't know if he did the voice on this one or not.
I remember him, at the very least, I remember him streaming it a lot, and I thought it's because he was in the game or something like that. But I might be thinking of a different game, because honestly, I don't really remember this game very well.
Well, and how many post-apocalyptic games have come out in the past 10 years? Like, there's a ton of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the trend. Everyone follows the trend.
Oh, yeah, it was Witwer's voice. Yeah.
Oh, Days Gone voice actor Sam Witwer, I'm hoping that's the right pronunciation, says that some of the game's negative reviews can be blamed on reviewers who didn't properly experience it.
I don't know what that means, and I'm not going to delve into it.
He wasn't even the problem. The problem was the writing of the story that was pretty shitty. That was the problem. I don't even fully understand some of the shit that was going on.
So,
spoilers fully. His girlfriend, wife, I think it was his wife, that he lost when the zombies all started happening. Like, from the start of the game, it's been, like a year, 2 years or something like that? It might have been a little longer. She's just, 2 miles away from where he was staying. He just never knew it. Just 2 miles.
So
Jesus Christ game.
One could argue there's potentially some merit to the argument that it may have had a loss of sales because people wait for it to go on sale, because honestly, that's how I am with games a lot of the time nowadays, because my backlog is so huge. I go, ooh, I know I want to play that at some point in time. So I bought, for instance, Guardians of the Galaxy when it was on sale for $25 over the holiday break. And for some of the other Xbox games and things like that, I go, ooh, I'm going to hold out and wait for that to be on the EA streaming service that's baked into Game Pass. So, for instance, I'm sure there's folks that waited on Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and it just hit Game Pass this week because they added to the EA Game Pass service that's on there. So I'm sure
I waited on that till it hit $20 in the PlayStation Store, and then I bought it.
So I'm sure that for people, and okay, I'm going to wear the banner proudly. I'm a casual gamer now. I don't play video games as much as I used to, or because I don't have as much time as I used to. So I'm not in as much of a rush, like, oh my God, I have to buy this game on day one and play it. Because I don't also want to buy a shitty game that I start playing and get disappointed. Like, I dropped $60 on this and stopped playing something else that I was really enjoying. So a lot of time now, I'm a bit more discerning of a gamer, which is, that looks interesting. I'm going to bookmark it, or I'm going to make a note of it so that when the game comes out, I can read the reviews and go to reviewers whose opinions I generally mesh with because we like the same type of games and determine whether that's worthwhile for me. So I think that to some extent, the model has changed a little bit, which is people aren't just slapping $60 down and be like, oh my God, I'm going to play this immediately. People are being a bit more discerning about what they're going to spend their money on.
I can only buy so many anthems.
I mean, that's fair. And I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, that people are like, yeah, I'm going to wait until a game comes out to make that decision versus pre-ordering a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Now, I still will stand by the fact I've had Metroid Prime 4 pre-ordered for 4.5 years at this point in time. So maybe one day I'll actually get the game. But
Here. If a game looks good enough, I'll pay full price for it. Day one, pre-order. If it looks good and I know it's going to be good, hell yeah. If it has a history of someone who knows what they're doing.
Amazing Spider-Man coming out from Insomniac. I pre-ordered that.
Wolverine.
Day it came out.
You can pre-order that. I won't be angry at you.
Right.
I pre-order Wolverine.
So,
it's Insomniac. It's a proven theater, or it's a proven studio. It's a proven franchise that they know how to work with superhero stuff. I've loved the Ratchet and Clank games. I don't know who the fuck the studio is that the Days Gone, and I don't care about a biker dude in a zombie apocalypse. So I wasn't gonna buy your game day one.
But my point is, I saw Days Gone. Didn't seem like it was a full price game. It was like looked fun, but it didn't look like my type of game. And hey, guess what? I was right. That was my point.
I mean, that's fair. And I agree, and I should caveat my original statements. For some games, depending on the publisher or the studio that it's coming from, it's automatically a day one buy because I know I'm going to play it. But if it's something that seems a bit more questionable to me now, we're past that point where I've got time to play 20, 30 games a year, which is a bit of an exaggeration. We're at the point where I find a couple story-based games I like, and if I knock those out and beat them, that's great, and I'll dabble with some multiplayer stuff here from time to time. I don't come home from work and play video games for 3 or 4 hours like I used to in my early 20s.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't have the time, honestly. And there's other things I'd rather do. I mean, and that's fair. And for some people, if that's your way to relax, that's great. Please don't take that as me judging. I just don't do that anymore myself. So it's made me be a bit more discerning on what I want to play. I agree. The Wolverine game from Insomniac, assuming it comes out on PS4, I'll pre-order that so I can play it the day it comes out.
Right, what about your PS5?
I'm not getting a PS5. And honestly... Maybe
none of us are getting PS5.
maybe someday, but at this point in time, there's no reason to, because I don't play my PS4 enough to justify it. I played it a ton to play Spider-Man. I need to buy Miles Morales and play it on that. But most of the other PlayStation games I've gotten, I haven't beaten yet. I'm really close to Detroit Become Human or whatever, almost being done with that, which I thought was a fascinating, fun story.
I still need to play that myself.
Give me a good single-player story on your platform, I'll play the shit out of it, because that's not the normal kind of game we get anymore, because everything nowadays is, hey, here's the 1600th version of Call of Duty, and we've jammed some more microtransactions in it. Oh, and we also threw the campaign out because no one wants to play it. I'm like, but I wanted to play the campaign. That was something I would do from time to time, is I'd buy the Call of Duty game that was 3 or 4 years old for $10 at GameStop, play the campaign and call it a day. And I got $10 worth of fun out of the campaign. That was fine.
Yeah. But just don't be the director blaming everything but the damn game itself for people not wanting to buy it.
I remember some of the reviews of it, which was that it didn't live up to what people expected, but people were still having fun with it, if I recall correctly. So it was fun, just not great. In today's world, if you're not a great game, people hold off and buy it when it's on sale or when it hits Game Pass or Game Pass analogous services.
I mean, it looked amazing. Like when all those hordes of zombies was running at you like a World War Z style. Like it was cool. It was exciting. I apparently did not know how to fucking take them out at all because the game just sets you up like, yeah, you won't be awesome till later. Which I mean, I get, but can you give me some way of dealing with these, even though it's not like cool or anything? Just give me some way.
That's fair.
No, okay, fine, whatever. I guess I'm just not doing this then. If I can't be cool, why am I doing it?
I get it. Yeah, I don't think the director, from the way you discussed it, really approached this in the right way. But
it just seems like he's blaming everything else on everyone else instead of, yeah, the game was all right, man. Like, it wasn't on. It's not on a pedestal like you put it on.
We're all biased based off of what our baby is in this case. The game was his baby. Yeah. I get that he wants to defend it, but you got to be rational in how you do it, I think.
Yeah, don't write a shit story next time. Oh, sorry, there won't be a next time. There is no Days Gone 2.
I mean, at this point, yeah, who knows? Sometimes these things, they end up getting sequels at some point. Who knows? I'm guessing it's probably not going to unless it hits like when it hit PlayStation Plus or whatever. If a bunch of people played it and they saw like huge numbers of people playing the game, maybe that would get them thinking they could invest the money to do a sequel. But I don't have access to those metrics to know.
Yeah,
I don't think he does either.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
Sony
like a
does,
huge number of people hit it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That would be an interesting question, is when you sign these deals for your game to go on PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold or Game Pass and things like that, what information does Microsoft or Sony share back with you based off of, hey, here's the number of people playing your game in this quarter, here's the people that played it for more than an hour versus the people that picked it up, played it for 10 minutes and went, oh, this game isn't for me. Because that is the nice thing on these services now is you can play a game for 10 minutes, but like, oh, this didn't hook me, and just delete it and call it a day. Who cares?
Or the number of people that added it to the number of people that added it to their library and didn't even download it.
Yeah, Chris, tell me those hot metrics. Yeah, tell me those metrics. Yeah. Speak those metrics to my ears. Yeah.
It isn't Microsoft, I should say. I guess Xbox technically is the game side. Aren't they famous for not sharing any of their sales figures?
I don't know. For the console hardware, I know they have been
definitely the hardware.
Notoriously stingy on not sharing. They have shared information like number of subscribers on Game Pass and things like that. But what they share publicly versus what they share with their partners, I imagine, differs. I guess is what I'm getting at.
Oh, yeah. I would hope so.
Yeah. That's all.
And I will say Days Gone was a first-party PlayStation game. They own the studio that developed it.
Oh, yeah. So then Sony's involved all along the way, and they can figure out whether it's worthwhile for them to continue doing more stuff. And that makes it easier for them to put it on their services because they own the damn game. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't know if they own the IP, but I know they own the... I don't know, man. Rights aren't my thing, dude.
None of us are lawyers. We just sort of have
some rudiment. You shut your mouth there. You don't know me.
Willie D. Nelson, Esquire. By that, I mean he has a subscription to the magazine Esquire.
Sounds about right.
That magazine was all right. Cosmo was better.
So it's Willie D. Nelson.
Where's my damn Fangoria?
Cosmo Esquire.
I sell that at Food Line when I worked at the grocery store, working third shift, just read magazines because I had nothing else to do. Oh, I read Cosmo, I read Esquire, I read Maxim, I read them all. Because what else are you going to do?
Willie was learning some tips and tricks. You see.
He read.
I was laughing at those tips and tricks.
Ask Willie about the hip swivel sometime if you see him in person. He'll tell you all about it.
He'll probably show you.
He'll show you the hip swivel. While he's thinking about that, let's move on to the next news story. Mr. Bachman, what do you got for us?
We got a article here from Slash Film has been put out there that Netflix has a Scott Pilgrim anime series on the way. I love it. Their title they put was Now with More Garlic Bread. So we're getting an updated new version of the original Brian O'Malley story. Excuse me, Scott Pilgrim vs. World heading to Netflix. It says they haven't gotten a series order yet, according to the Hollywood Reporter, but it's set to be an anime adaptation from the original comic book creators on board. Brian Lee O'Malley, who created and illustrated the 6-book series, would be set to run as a new show as the executive producer. If the series moves forward, it'll show run alongside Ben David Grabinski, who did Are You Afraid of the Dark, with both of them executive producing. There's no word on casting for the voice talents yet, but the THR reports the new anime will have some things in common with the Edgar Wright's 2010 big screen adaptation, namely that Wright himself will serve as an executive producer alongside with his partner Nira Park. So the show would have basically 4 executive producers, all people that have, worked on either the comic book Scott Pilgrim or the movie Scott Pilgrim. So, a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but a lot of really talented cooks. And being as that it's, Edgar Wright doesn't make bad anything. Like, the dude is super talented. And having the actual creator of the comic on a Scott Pilgrim anime means odds are it's going to look a lot, you would assume he's going to go with the art studio that's going to make it look a lot like his art style. And it's a great comic book if you haven't actually read the book that the movie was based on. Let's see. Yeah, it will be set up for at least a season long, so then they could take it a little bit slower and not have to rush through everything like they did in the movie. Where, let's see, what was it? Yeah, 6 graphic novels, so they can take it at more of a leisurely pace. They can do all of all the little Asian stuff, and it says it's also hopefully a chance for O'Malley to right some of the original story's wrongs, like the much criticized treatment and characterization of Asian Canadian teenager Knives Chow, who dates Scott when she's in high school, because that character kind of gets as we
15 or 15.
And as we would say these days, the character is somewhat problematic in the movie. So
it was problematic then too.
Well, it's more problematic now. But yeah, so it looks like if they do it, it'll be see, where is it? Netflix will be making the show with UCP, the division of Universal Studio Group that also brought us the Umbrella Academy, and the show's animation will be done by Japanese studio Science Saru, whose artists have worked on projects including Netflix's Devilman Crybaby, which I haven't seen, but they also worked on Star Wars Visions. So, some studios that put together some damn. Umbrella Academy was amazing. Star Wars Visions was fantastic. So, like, if those studios are involved with making, a Scott Pilgrim animated show, this could be really fucking fun, and it'll probably look great. But yeah, they haven't gotten a series order yet, but we might be getting ourselves a Scott Pilgrim show that actually tells the whole story that's in the 6 books.
I'm curious who the voice actors will be for it.
Yeah, because you got to be able to nail that perfect whininess of Scott Pilgrim that Michael Cera just did perfect.
He was that's not to say they couldn't bring some of the movie talent over to do the voice on here.
It's true. It would be hilarious if they just recast everybody from the movie and just had them do the same roles.
Some of those people are pretty expensive now, though, is the problem.
That's true. Yeah.
Brie Larson and Chris Evans, for instance, probably not the cheapest to get.
I think Chris Evans would do it because I think he loves that character, though. Just like Brandon Routh would be funny as hell to come back as the bass guitarist from...
So I don't disagree that Brandon Routh would be good, but Brandon Routh is also a lot cheaper than Brie Larson and Chris Evans. Yes. And I don't mean that disparagingly, but he works predominantly in TV now, whereas they work predominantly in movies. So we're talking... Yeah.
But then again, Brie Larson's got Marvels coming out where she's, bringing back Captain Marvel, where Chris Evans just retired Captain America. So he might want the work.
I got it. Brie Larson and Brandon Routh were in the band Clash at the Demon Head. Is it at the Demon Head or at Demon Head? I can't remember.
Clash at Demon Head, I believe.
All right, yeah, I remember. Yeah, my memory. Phone's over there. I didn't even touch it. I was like, what was it?
It's just a great name.
The song, I love that song, Black Sheep. That's a good song. I actually have that on my playlist.
Nice.
Yeah, it's Clash at Demon Head.
Got an automobile.
No, I'd be really intrigued to watch the series. I mean, and Netflix has been doing some cool stuff with animation as of late. So that's kind of on brand for them.
Yeah, they have. Fucking yeah, they have. Skelligod. Hell yeah. Netflix animation kicks ass.
The whole scene where they finally unleash He-Man in the new Masters of the Universe was some pretty sweet animation.
What have you been watching?
Oh, Oh,
Release the He-Man.
No, stop it.
I'm looking forward to the Corridor crew doing an animators react and talking about Masters of the Universe Revelations. I think that could be really cool because they do animators react now too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They can talk about that line where Ralph Garman says he wants to fist Skeletor.
Well, I don't think that'll be part of the animators react because they're talking about the animation, not the voice acting. But perhaps.
To bring it
I
back
think they
a
should
little
all
bit.
they should all be shocked by that line.
Yeah.
I would also recommend the Scott Pilgrim game that I think you can still purchase.
I think so too.
I don't know if it's been delisted yet because it's probably going to be at some point in time. So yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game.
It was on all the major systems too.
Yeah, it got re-released on PS4. I have it on the PS4 now, and it's still fun. Yeah, it's a fun side-scrolling beat 'em up with RPG elements. It's fun. Highly recommend it. And it's also multiplayer. You can have 4 people playing all at once. And it's also online. This is not an ad for this game, but it's an ad for my heart.
Don't go breaking your heart, Willie.
It's a good game.
And it's
They did a good
$15 in the PlayStation Store.
I think it's the same on the eShop too because I believe it's available on the Switch as well.
Sure, it's worth it.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I know it's worth it. I played it. I have it.
I wonder if it's available
The music's
via
good.
the streaming options for Xbox because that'd be fun. I've been doing a lot of the cloud gaming stuff on Xbox. I'll talk about that as we get to the end of the show. But it's pretty
There was
delightful.
crossplay. I'd play with you,
It'd be pretty sweet.
but I don't think there is.
I don't think there is either.
Sadly.
That being said, I guess we've wrapped up our news there
We did.
with a nice little aside to argue about Civil War for 15 minutes.
Well,
We're timely.
you had an argument. We were telling you we're right.
Well, you had your own argument.
The fact is, you're wrong. That's the fact. And you
Uh,
wanted to somewhere argue that fact for some reason, but that's all. That's your prerogative, my
I'm
man.
going to let you continue telling yourself that so that you can sleep at night.
The moral compass of everyone is wrong. That's what you're telling me. That's what you sound like.
Why should Steve Rogers be the moral compass of everyone?
He just is. No one elected him to be. He just
because
is.
he's a good man.
So is Peter Parker.
Well, yeah,
That's true.
and
He
Tony
showed up
Stark
later.
tricked him into coming to help him. He also hit on his aunt.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Can you blame him?
Yeah. Well, especially when he has to go home to. Ugh. Gwyneth Paltrow.
Well, remember, they were
Her
broken
and her
up at that
goopy-
point in time, too.
Yeah.
Tony
What?
was a single man.
At the time?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Was he?
Yes, because remember, in that movie, and we're going to transition off this, but in that movie, Steve asks, how's Pepper? When they're talking about the protocols or whatever, and he brings the pen from the Lend-Lease program or whatever that FDR used.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, how's Pepper? And he goes, we're taking a break or something like that.
Yep.
Whatever.
So they were not together.
I can't
Tony was
blame-
a single man. He
Okay,
could have
the
hit
re-
that.
You know the real reason why is because Gwyneth Paltrow didn't want to be on set. She's like, I don't have to do this. I got goop shit to do.
I don't dispute that you're wrong. I'm just
Bitch.
saying that from a
Don't
character
care.
standpoint.
I'll say it.
That's what was going on.
You're a horrible person. You sell snake oil to people. You're horrible.
Willie, we've had this conversation like 16 times.
And you'll have it a 17th time. And an 18th. And a 19th.
What about a 21st time? Will it be old enough to drink when it's all said and done?
Yes!
Then it'll just buy something to drink from Goop then.
Chris?
Willie, I'm going to get you signed up for emails from Goop so that you can know what's going on, so that you can properly rail against it.
You don't know my email.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Pretty sure
I
it's
think
really
you
at
do
Gonna
too.
Geek.
I just like to say it because it's a thing.
I won't say it on the air because I don't want people emailing you and annoying you, though. I'm a nice guy.
I just don't have to look at them. That's all that is.
That's fair.
I mean, I would not that I wouldn't. I wouldn't mind saying, "Ooh, someone sent me an email, an actual person, not a newsletter."
Gwyneth Paltrow is going to send you an email about Goop so that you can get some of your own Goop.
Good, because I have some choice words I will send right back to her.
The C word, I assume.
You goddamn right. Or we'll see you next Tuesday, if you know what I mean.
All right, that being said here, we are ready to start wrapping things up for those of you that have listened to the show before. you know what's coming. But if you haven't listened, we do a segment called What I'm Into. It's when we share with you guys just what kind of geeky and nerdy things we may get into, because you may want to go check them out yourselves. And I'll kick things off because why not? I talked about it before, I think on the last episode, or maybe the episode prior to that, I can't recall, but that I'd been dabbling a bit more with the Xbox cloud gaming website. Because for those that aren't aware, if you're a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you can basically stream any game that's in the Game Pass library to your PC or to your phone or to your tablet. So I wanted to try out some of these games, and I started just sitting down at my PC, plugged in my old Xbox 360 USB controller I had, and it could fire up a game in like 30 seconds and try out a few games I hadn't played before. And I'm trying to remember the name of the game that I was playing, and I'm going to load the page in the background while we're talking here. But there's one that I found that I really enjoyed a lot. There were a few others that were so-so. I'm not 100% sure if I would like it. But like I fired up, for instance, GTA San Andreas, the remaster. I didn't care for how it's presented, and I went, I don't have to install it on my Xbox to know this now. I just hit a play button and it spun up. The game that I found that I really did enjoy, and this just loaded so I could figure it out, and I believe it's from a smaller studio. It's kind of an action platforming game. It's called The Gunk. Weird name, but the whole concept is there's this planet you find, you're space travelers or whatnot, you land on this planet, and there's some kind of weird energy source. And as you uncover it, you basically have this super glove or whatever that has a vacuum feature and a blaster and things like that. And each section of the planet you go through, you have to use the vacuum feature to clean up this gunk. And once you do that, it causes the wildlife to grow, which then gives you vines you can grab, bridges you can jump across, and things like that. It's a pretty cool exploration game. It doesn't take a ton of skill to play or anything like that. It's just fun, and it has a cool world. And it's a game I wouldn't have tried had it not been on Game Pass. And I could just fire up at the push of a button. And as I'm talking about these things, you don't necessarily have to cloud stream only on one of those devices I mentioned about. I had messed with it upstairs on my Xbox a little bit. You can now stream direct to the Xbox as well. So say, for instance, you wanted to play Mech Warrior 5, which is one of the games I just tried out, but you didn't want to install 50 gigs of data. You could just fire it up as a cloud instance, play for 15, 20 minutes, but hey, I actually like this game. And then if you want to not consume a bunch of bandwidth repeatedly, download the game so that you can play it locally instead of streaming it going forward. So this whole streaming process has actually been working out pretty well for me. Has given me an opportunity to play some games I hadn't and not have to download them direct to my Xbox to try them, because that's also one of the problems I'd run into before on some Game Pass games in the past. Is I downloaded it, it was a 30 gig game, I played it for 10 minutes, went, oh, this isn't for me, and I had to then delete it, which is fine. I've got bandwidth to spare and things like that. But if I was in a place where I was on a relatively slower data plan and things like that, cloud streaming the game is a better way to test the game before you play it versus downloading and then testing and being, oh shit, I just wasted 6 hours downloading this. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it.
You know what the gunk reminds me of?
What's that?
Reminds me of a much better version of the game we got with it, the Captain Planet.
Okay, that's fair.
There was an original Nintendo game.
Yep.
Oh god, it was terrible. I couldn't even get past the first level. It was one of those games.
Yeah. So I will continue to say that the cloud gaming experience, even though it's still in beta for Xbox, I've had a very good experience with. There's been a couple hiccups here and there, which I think are more related to an internet issue here where it'll slow down for a little bit. And it's not necessarily a problem with single player games, because hit the pause button, let it sit for 10 seconds, then unpause and you're good to go. But if you're playing something, like I did try this because I was curious, I wanted to see how it would work, the game streaming version of it. I was playing Halo Infinite multiplayer, the streaming version on my PC versus downloading the PC copy and playing it that way. And for the most part, it worked fine. There were a couple times where I had some weird internet issues and it didn't freeze up, but it did lose a lot of visual fidelity, which I think you'd rather have that happen than have it start dropping frames and things like that. So it was still playable, but it was annoying. But it was only for maybe 5 seconds at a time, and then it would go away. So I was pretty impressed with how well it worked. Now, caveat, my desktop PC, which is where I'm podcasting from also, it's hardwired into the back of my router. So it's not a wireless connection. So I'm getting a gigabit connection, basically.
Yeah.
I'm getting to use pretty much all of my internet to be able to do it. Now, I don't think it uses that much when I was doing bandwidth monitoring. I've played on my laptop here, which is connected via Wi-Fi and didn't have any issues. I've used my iPad to play because I was curious, and I've also used my cell phone to play games. And I've had a relatively solid experience. This has all been on Wi-Fi, however. I haven't tried on LTE or 5G, but in theory, it should be playable like that as well. So I'm really impressed with the cloud gaming setup, and I've been really impressed and happy with the ability to stream to my Xbox directly so I can try games out that way.
I like the question about the service.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you have to have an Xbox controller plugged in to use it?
You have to have a controller of some kind connected via Bluetooth or USB connection.
That was going to be my part of the question is this a way people could mod the service some way to use a mouse and keyboard?
Well, some games will by default allow mouse and keyboard, for instance. So Halo Infinite, that's a game that...
I would hate that.
Yeah, but PC gamers are all about mouse and keyboard. So when I fired it up, it said, hey, we see that there's a controller connected and there's a mouse and keyboard. What control scheme do you want to use?
Well, my point is, if I'm a console gamer, I don't want to go up against the mouse and keyboard. They can go fuck themselves. They can play with themselves all they want. I'm with a controller. I got no other option here, man. And mouse and keyboard is better in some things and not better in other things.
Yes.
But in first-person shooters is definitely a better option. Yeah. So I would not want to go up against someone who's mouse and keyboard on a first-person shooter a la Halo and me just in my controller because they have... you put the same skill levels, mouse and keyboard's probably going to win out on that more than likely with similar skill levels.
Clicking heads is easier than pointing a controller.
Yeah. So, for example, on my stuff, I have an old Xbox 360 wired controller that I bought probably 10 years ago to play games on my PC because I like using a controller for things. Now,
playing
in theory,
Xbox One games?
Xbox, even like Steam games and stuff like that.
Well, no, can you use your 360 controller to play Xbox One games?
Yes, and that's what I was doing
okay,
when it was plugged in. And my point there was I have here the controller to my Google Stadia that they gave me a free demo version of probably a year or two ago. In theory, had I wanted to, I could have plugged this into my PC and used this to play Xbox cloud streaming games. I cannot Bluetooth connect this to my desktop because it'll only do Bluetooth connections for Stadia games, I think, which is some weird bottleneck they put in there. But this can plug in direct to my PC and allow me to play games through like GeForce Now, which is NVIDIA's streaming service, or the cloud gaming beta that Microsoft is doing. I don't believe that Microsoft restricted it to you can only use an Xbox-type controller. Now, it'll arguably play better with controllers that follow the Xbox convention of using like A, B, X, Y, and where they're positioned. Like if you plugged in a PlayStation controller, I think it would let you use it, but I'm not sure how that would display like on screen when you're supposed to push button A to do something. I don't think it's going to update to say the O button or something like that, or the triangle button.
You get that weird thing where I play with my PlayStation 4 controller on Steam when I play DBD on my computer, and even though Steam registers it as a PlayStation 4 controller, in-game, Dead by Daylight tells me to press X to like struggle or something. It gives me Xbox controls for the notifications on the screen, even though Steam knows I'm using a PlayStation controller. It's very confusing.
Well, that sounds like its behavior is not really optimizing.
I wonder if there's some kind of setting in Dead by Daylight you need to tweak to make it know the right controller or something like that.
The list of settings in DBD is so small.
Okay, I wasn't sure. But
they barely have any.
For instance, I've paired an Xbox controller via Bluetooth to my iPad and played with no problem and stuff like that versus plugging it in. Nice. And all of the controllers that are in the Xbox Series line have Bluetooth built into them, and I think they upgraded like halfway through the Xbox One time period so that they all had Bluetooth connections in them too. So most Xbox controllers that people have now will have Bluetooth in it, so you can just pair it directly to your computer or to your phone or tablet or whatever device you want. So I've been pleasantly surprised with how well that worked. I've been playing The Gunk. I've also been playing a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy. And then I've just been watching dumb TV and reading some. I had to go back to work this week for the first time after my 3-week vacation of burning a bunch of leave. So it's been, I go to work and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired because I had to do real work all day. And then I pass out on the couch for an hour and do other things after that.
Okay, you didn't actually go into work. You had to go to work.
Correct. I come down to this seat that I'm podcasting from.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, you actually went to work? Like,
No, he had to do
they're
work.
calling you back now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait, no, that's not what he means. God damn it, Chris.
Which is also the same reason why I bought this chair, which you can't really see on stream, but I have one of the Secret Lab gaming chairs. And I hadn't sat in it much over the break because I hadn't been coming down here. And after last week of putting about 45 hours in, sitting in this chair over 5 days, it's finally getting to the point where I've started to break in the seat a little bit so that my ass doesn't hurt at the end of the day, because it's a very firm seat until you start to break it in. That's cold cast foam, I think is what they call it. And now that I've been sitting in a lot, it's actually really comfortable. And the way this chair sits, it's really great for my back, where I've positioned the lumbar and things like that. So it's really comfortable. And the thing I really like is if I'm really trying to concentrate and figure something out that's not necessarily on the computer screen, but I'm trying to work a problem out, I can recline this chair back so that it is about like this. I think it's a 165-degree angle to recline back to. So...
I feel like I'm falling out of it.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. So I can lean back and I can look straight up, and I can... Sometimes you just have to look away from the screens to process and do brainstorming properly. So that's what I've started doing, because I'll lean back, I'll lay back, and there's this nice pillow built into it, and I'll kind of just stare up at the ceiling as I'm trying to figure out the problem. And when I do, then I can just pop the chair back up and get back to work. So it's been really enjoyable, and it's designed appropriately so you're not going to worry about tipping your chair over. It's designed to allow you to do that, which has been nice. So I'm pretty pleased with this chair. Granted, it was expensive. Not as expensive as Anthony's chair because I didn't go Herman Miller, but I'm pretty happy with what I got for it. Now, had you asked me that the first couple of days I'd been sitting in it, by about the hour 6 mark, I was like, oh my God, this chair is just killing my ass. I'm so uncomfortable because it wasn't breaking in yet. So I would like pull a leg up underneath me and sit on that for a little bit. Now that we've gotten to the point where it's mostly broken in, I find it really comfortable. And I understand why you see so many people that are, I'm not a pro gamer, but so many people like stream on Twitch and things like that are gamers. A lot of them have Secret Lab chairs, probably in part because Secret Lab sponsors a lot of them, because it's great placement. Because when I move my head, there's that nice pillow that shows the Secret Lab logo. Now, I'm too tall for it to show up on stream all the time, but some of these shorter streamers, that pillow is pretty much in place where it can be seen anytime they move their head and things like that. So I've been pretty pleased with it. They've also got a bunch of other ones. I got the fabric material. They've got like the sort of leather. They have like a whole line of like Witcher chairs they're just releasing, and Harry Potter ones, and DC superheroes. So you can theme things if you like now too. Like the Joker chair is pretty cool looking. Now, I don't think I would want it, but it looks cool. I went with basically just this plain, what they call it, cookies and cream, which is a gray and white fabric, which should breathe better in the summer. That was my concern.
Heather gray.
No, it's called cookies and cream.
I know, I was just
on their website. And it is bolstered.
Their Batman chair looks really good, too.
It does. It is bolstered like a lot of those gaming chairs, but since there's like 3 sizes of this chair, I got the largest size, and the bolsters don't dig into my back. They actually hold me in place properly. So not that I really need to worry about getting thrown out of a chair or anything, but it's comfortable versus if I'd gotten a smaller one, those bolsters would be like digging into my back and be uncomfortable. So I've been pretty pleased with the purchase. And now that I've actually put a decent amount of time into sitting in the chair, I am happy with it. So if you're in the market for one, this chair, I think as was configured, once I factored in tax and stuff, was a little over $550. It was great. It's a great chair. If that makes your face drop, don't ask how much the Herman Miller chairs cost, Willie.
How much does it cost, Bachman?
If I rebought my 2 chairs that I bought last year again, combined, yeah, because I bought a Lazy Boy as well. So between my Lazy Boy and my Herman Miller, if I bought them again, I would have spent the same amount on chairs that I spent on my last car.
Now, there is something to be said for good ergonomics.
I spent $2,500 on chairs last year. I'm sitting in a $1,500 chair.
I actually was looking at some of those.
Later. Peace.
Yeah, I was looking at some of those websites that do remanufactured Herman Miller chairs and things like that, and was considering some of those. Because they basically replace all the movable parts on them and then resell them, and they're at a decent discount. But I decided to go this route, mostly because my dad has an older version of the Secret Labs chair. And anytime I go home that's the chair that we roll out to the living room that I sit in. and it's pretty comfortable, and it's well broken in because my dad plays a crap load of Assassin's Creed at his computer, and that's the chair he uses to do it. So I knew that once I broke this chair in properly, it would be really comfortable, and I am probably about 70% of the way having it broken in the way I want. So I'm pretty pleased with it.
What makes that chair worth $500?
It's infinitely more comfortable and supports my back better than my last chair did that I spent $250 on.
Okay, that's the effect. I guess I meant what is in the chair that makes it worth $500?
I don't think that you're quite aware of the market for good furniture when it comes to desk chairs, Willie. This is on the cheap end of...
No, I'm sitting on a couch, my man.
So when it comes to office furniture and things like that, this is on the lower end of prices.
Yeah,
I know. But
it's not even so much what's in it, it's the design that goes into it.
Yeah.
Because, I would sit at that...
It's a chair. We figured this out hundreds of years ago.
But I would sit, when we were at the apartment, and I would sit and do the podcast in a nice plush dining room table chair. We would get done with the podcast, and when I stood up, my knees hurt, my fucking back hurt. Like for us sitting here just talking for 2 hours, I would stand up and be sore. We can sit here for 4 hours. I stand up out of this chair, and nothing hurts. It's literally the design of the chair that where you can sit in it for long periods of the time, and it doesn't hurt your body.
It's the ergonomics that go into it and how it supports your back and how it supports your legs and things like that really come into play. And that's how I knew my last chair was becoming problematic. Like I really liked it and I'd spent a fair amount of money on it, but I had worn out the cushioning around the edge where my legs sat every day. So like the wood underneath that cushioning was just digging into my legs and my legs were killing me at the end of the day.
That's fair.
So that was mostly why I had upgraded, and why I'd upgraded to this is because it's a lot of heavy duty foam and things like that. And the lumbar support on this thing is great. And for me, Willie, you've met me in person. You know I'm about 6'3", 6'4". Most of my height is in my back, not my legs. So like I have a very long back. This is
all torso.
This is an office chair that I can lean back and like my head is the top of the chair basically. Whereas most office chairs, even high back ones, they like stop at the top of my shoulders basically. So like I couldn't sit in it properly to be able to lean back. And this chair, I really like the fact that it fits me well.
Don't you like how all the vehicles for people like us, they have shoulder rest?
Yeah.
Because those aren't headrests. No, my head's up here.
Well,
my
luckily
head's down here.
I drive a Subaru, so that's adjustable, so I'm able to pick it up and turn it into a headrest.
I adjusted all the way to the top, and it's top of my shoulder.
Here's where it's funny.
Base of my neck.
I was looking at buying a Tesla for a while, a Tesla Model Y.
The ceiling.
You can't pull those seats, those headrests up. They don't adjust up at all in there. Like I tried to do it in the demo car, and then it made the back of the chair fall out because they use those pegs to hold the plastic in place that's on the back of the chair. So I was like, the fuck did I do? Oh shit. And I realized and just popped everything back into place. But you can't actually adjust the headrest up. So if you're someone like me with a tall back, you're like, oh God, this sucks. I need to weirdly adjust this chair. So honestly, a lot of what came into me is this fit the way my back and my body is shaped the way I wanted to. And it wasn't me having to spend $1,200 to $1,500. It was me spending about a third of that potentially.
See, I can't. You could probably adjust the seat where you can sit lower down. I can't because I have long legs. I don't want my knees to be bent, like going up at an angle and then straight down. I don't want them to go like that and then down. Like, no, I want them flat and then down.
Yeah, so
my head hits the fucking ceiling.
The height of this chair, the way I have it set up height-wise, my feet can rest flat on the ground. I also have like another thing that I bought last year when I started working from home that's like a foam footrest or whatever that I put my feet on most of the day when I'm working. And it's kind of like a half circle, and I have the circle side up, but there are days where like if I sometimes have restless legs. Not like restless leg syndrome, but I can't sit still and stuff like that. So I'll flip it the other way and I'll put the circular end down on the floor so I can rock my feet back and forth on that. And that is able to allow me to have that motion without, spinning my chair back and forth or wheeling back and forth a bunch to do stuff.
I whip my chair back and forth.
No.
So, like I said, I've been pleased with it, and I will say this. It's not necessarily a thing that everyone needs to get. And 20-year-old Chris would be like, the hell with that. I got this office chair that's pretty comfortable from Office Depot, and it does what I want. But 37-year-old Chris is like, I'm old and my back hurts sometimes, so let me find ways to make that not be the case. And for me, the way this chair, I've got it finally configured, it is almost perfect for my back. So like at the end of the day, if I've been like the early part of the week, I'll do 10-hour days down here. I get up at the end of 10 hours and I don't hurt after sitting in this chair for that long.
Which is the important part.
Like if I was sitting in the chair just to do the podcast every Sunday, I would have kept rocking with the chair I had and it probably wouldn't have worn out yet either because it wasn't getting 40 plus hours of use a week. Go ahead, Willie.
Of use, you're just sitting. I guess that is the use of it, but it's just weird saying but sitting on something. But
I mean, the thing you got to consider is those materials don't bounce back all the way after a certain amount of given time, and materials break down. It's like those foams and things they put in office chairs, they don't last forever, and moving back and forth and shifting in it all the time, that wears them down and they don't quite pop back how they're supposed to. Like I took my old office chair because it's still really good and I moved it upstairs and that's what I play video games in now. Instead of taking a dining room chair and putting it in front of the TV, I just wheel the office chair in and I go and play video games in that. And it's incredibly comfortable because I don't sit like I did at my desk, where when I was at my desk, I was leaning back. Whereas when I'm playing video games, I'm leaning forward a lot more and it's putting the pressure in different places compared to where I'd already worn out the chair. So first world problem, I fully admit, and paid first world price, but I'm pretty pleased with it. So if you're in the market and you're not ready to break down the cash for the Herman Miller or things like that, this I didn't think was a bad compromise.
Yeah, because chairs from Staples are really nice and comfortable for like the first year you sit them, and then they fall apart.
Chairs made of Staples?
No, from the store Staples.
I know. I'm making a joke.
Yeah. I literally got like 4 of those in a row, spending anywhere from $100 to $200, and like over the course of 5 years, I think I went through 4 or 5 office chairs. I spent $800 on a chair, on a bunch of different chairs over 4 or 5 years, and then throw them away. Versus, I spent $1,500 on this one, and I know for damn sure this chair is going to last a hell of a lot longer than 4 or 5 years.
And I will say, the chair I had before, it was listed for like $350. I got it on sale for $220, and it's one of the ones built with like Serta memory foam and stuff in there. It's a really good chair. It's just that it was starting to get worn out. So I replaced it with something that I thought would be more comfortable. And this thing has a 5-year warranty, 3-year warranty, and I did the social media post to get the extra 2-year warranty on it. So like if the lumbar support breaks or the foam wears out, I contact them. They send me the replacement part and I install it.
That's kind of an asshole move on the maker of it. Oh, to get 2 extra years of a warranty, blast this on social media.
Advertising for their product and then they give you something you want. That sounds like a fair trade to me.
Yeah, I don't really think it's that if you don't want to do it, just stick with the 3-year warranty.
Car dealerships slap their name on the back of the fucking car you buy from them and don't even pay you for advertising.
Well, the first thing I do when I buy a car is tell them I want that removed from my car.
Yeah.
I can slap a guarantee on a box full of shit. That doesn't make it any better.
Well, it guarantees it's shit.
Yeah.
Tommy boy.
So, Willie, I had no issue with tweeting about an office chair that I got and getting an extra 2 years of warranty.
It seems like if it's that easy just to give out, maybe you should just do it instead of making people do social media shit.
Well, here's the catch. Prior to this generation of chair, everyone just got a 3-year warranty. So what they did is they kept the 3-year warranty and added an optional 2 years. The cost was you tweet about it.
I mean, I get it, but if it's that easy just to give it to people, just give it to people.
But it's also a chair that's specifically... It's a chair that's specifically, it's a chair company that's specifically aimed at like Twitch streamers and video game players. So like it makes sense they're pushing their social media.
Like,
I mean, I get it. It's just, just do it. You have the means, just do it.
Well, I mean, you do that, you have to advertise less is how they probably look at it. And let's be honest, most of these chairs are probably not going to break in that 5-year window because of how they're designed. So you can cut down an advertising budget a little bit by giving 1 in, say, 1,000 people an extra 2 years because that chair might actually break in that window and require parts replaced. I think that's a fair trade-off. I understand your point, but it didn't really rub me the wrong way. It was, okay, I got to jump through this hoop to do it. Okay, and you have like 30 or 60 days from when you get the chair to tweet about it, basically, or Facebook post or Reddit post or anything like that. Where it gets a little weird is you go to the Secret Labs or subreddit. It's basically just people sharing their chairs. There's not actually like people talking about chair reviews or how they made it fit work for them best. It was mostly, here's my chair, give me my warranty. So their subreddit kind of sucks. That's what I'm getting into. I kind of rambled and went off topic a little bit. Bachman, why don't you go next, sir?
No, we'll start with the bad. I was listening all the way through the Shudder podcast, The History of Horror with Eli Roth, which was awesome. Listened to all those episodes, and while I was listening to it at work, I kept making mental notes of movies I needed to buy, stuff that I didn't own, or old horror films I'd never seen. And one of the ones that really struck me was I didn't actually own a copy of the original George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. So I got me this sweet ass box set. Made sure, it's got all the bonus features. It's not a region specific. It's not like the Region 5, like my one DVD that I've got, where I literally have a PlayStation set on Region 5 because you can change it, and they let you change it like 3 or 4 times permanently. So we have one PlayStation in the house that's Region 1, which is all American discs in Canada. And then I have another PlayStation in the den that's set for Region 5, so I can watch stuff from the UK. And then I also have a Blu-ray player. So, and also right next to it is a VHS and DVD player. So, I should be able to play any fucking media. Well, I ordered, 5 or 6 horror movies, had them all sitting there, was, watching through certain stuff. And all day yesterday I was working in the garage, finally got some things moved around. I got a bookcase where it's going to go. I got my file cabinet where it's going to go. Started setting up some of the workout stuff. Was just finally able to, I emptied. There's no boxes on the floor. You could never see them before anyways, but there have been boxes on this floor in the den for basically the last 2 months. All the boxes are off the floor. My nice little carpet's laid down, a little runner to where we walk through the main room to get to the laundry room and the bathroom downstairs in the garage. So we got a nice little runner set there. So I was finally getting a bunch of stuff done. I was like, man, I'm going to reward myself tonight. We're going to watch Dawn of the Dead, sit down, watch, a nice George Romero film. And every one of these discs is unreadable. On my Blu-ray player, on my PlayStation set to Region 5. All discs in this box set are just unreadable. So I got a bunk box set that doesn't work for shit. And so now, a month after buying it, I'm having to report on Amazon to the seller, hey, this fucking shit don't work. Yeah, so that part of yesterday sucked. The good news was that then I went through the rest of the pile of movies. All right, well, what are we going to watch now? I watch Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark because I want some goddamn Guillermo del Toro. And it's funny because I realized in that stack I got Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I think he executive produced. I got The Shape of Water, which was a straight-up Guillermo movie. And I got The Devil's Backbone, which is my second Criterion Collection movie, which is another Guillermo del Toro movie. So, yeah, my stack of horror films, I just bought a bunch of Guillermo del Toro stuff because Guillermo del Toro is awesome. So, yeah, so I watched Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which we didn't realize was just now 3 years ago. So 2019, it was just in theaters a little bit ago. It was actually really solid. It was, for a lot of kids, I guess it was the step between Goosebumps and going up to more adult horror. It was kind of that middle ground. So it was kind of frightening, but still not not Stephen King, not Clive Barker yet, not going full on terrifying, but a little step up from the R.L. Stine level. But also the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark with those books, they came out after I was a kid. I was already reading Stephen King, so I never read them. So it was fun to see, an anthology story of a bunch of horror stuff put together in a new kind of unique way of storytelling through a book that this poor, tortured ghost character was writing in. It was really cool, really entertaining. We enjoyed it. I'm glad I actually own it. I'll watch it again. It was a fun movie. So had bad with the good with the movies. But then also I finally picked this up when I was in Portland. And Santa gave me a copy, gave Jana a copy, and gave Fashion a copy. So everybody in the family has a book called Never Quit Drawing. And the majority of the book is actually just blank because it's just a sketchbook. And it's just, to build up a habit of drawing. And there's tips and tricks every, I think it's 11 or 12 days. And I started out, let me see if I can get some of these on camera. I did a weird little rocket guy the first day. Where's it at? There's a lot of text in the beginning. Yeah, so there's one little weird guy, and then started doing just some crazy images. Went through, I put them up, did Aang from Avatar. But yeah, it's just drawing something every day. Did a hockey player from a podcast I was listening to. Did a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. But yeah, just did a little Babadook. But yeah, just sketching every day, and it's been nice because 8 days into the year, and I got 8 sketches in this book. So I'm keeping on track, but at the same time, I'm not feeling like, because I did a draw all year before where I did a sketchbook and a little tiny book, and I actually drew every day for 365 days, and that's right before like my depression and burnout happened. And I don't know if that was the main cause, but I'm pretty sure it contributed, because it was like, oh, I have to draw every day, I have to draw it. And I don't know, just I guess I didn't go into that in a good mental health state to begin with, and so that challenge of drawing every day for a year kind of really kicked my ass. Where this 8 days in, like, we're having fun with it. Like, Jana will do hers while she's working, and I'll be downstairs doing mine in the den, and like we'll text the pictures to each other, and like just having fun with it. And it's like it's been a fun book. The little tips and trips in it. It's illustrated by Kirby Rosanas. The text is by Laura Sims. It's just a really fun, entertaining book, and yeah, it's just something to draw in. I'm not worried about, like, I'm not going to sell these drawings. They're not going to go up on a store anywhere. Then I'm not taking highly detailed photos of them for my Instagram. I'm just sketching in it and having fun with it. So that's been actually really enjoyable. And then, we watch those movies, and then we've been just trying to catch up on shows and Netflix. I'm still watching through The Sopranos. Almost all the way caught up with the first season of Demon Slayer, which I'm starting to enjoy that show even more. I think I'm like 20 episodes in. And then we're a couple episodes into the new Witcher season, which, yeah, like I said, and the pre-show was really fun. After only having played a couple hours in the game, it was fun to see the start of season 2 where they actually get to the Witcher's home base and you see the training area. I was like, oh, I recognize that because I ran through that in the game. So it was kind of nice that they made that area look exactly like it does in the game, which was really interesting.
If I remember correctly, all the games, which are 1, 2, and 3, take place after the books, I think.
Something like that. Sounds right. I'm not positive, but it does sound right. Yeah. And then, I've been playing some Guardians too. I put another hour or so into that one. So, like, I finally met, Mistress Hellbender or whatever that you're supposed to deliver a monster to. Mm-hmm. So I got through that sequence, which was pretty fun. And then, like, the sneaking out, trying to sneak through her place. I'm doing that right now. So I've been enjoying that. Played, a little DBD, a little Fortnite. And then, we were going through shows last night. And we had that problem where we had seen a new show somewhere and went, oh, I'll add it to the list so we can watch it later. And then we crawled into bed last night and the girlfriend was like, yeah, we should watch Station 11 because she read that book before, really liked it. It's like, okay, we'll start that. And I was like, wait, what service was it on? She's like, I think it was Amazon. And so then we had to load up Amazon on the Roku. And then say, wait, nope, not there. Wait, nope, not Netflix. Wait, nope, not Hulu. Oh, no, it's on HBO Max. And this is the one problem now. If you don't specifically remember where a show is, and it's not something that like really sticks out, it's like, okay, the Matrix is on HBO because it's Warner Brothers, because all the Matrix movies had the big giant Warner Brothers logo. That's kind of stuck in your head. If it's just a new season of a show and you don't have it associated with any actual streaming service in your head yet, it can get kind of annoying trying to find them.
So, recommendation for you. There's an app called Real Good, REEL Good. And you can basically say, hey, here's the streaming services I have. And then there's a search feature there where you put a show in and it says, okay, you say you have these services, it's on this service. And then it'll tell you, if it's not on one of those, what that service is you would need to get. It's on iOS and Android. And it actually is on my Android TV box. So I can bring that up and I can actually launch things directly from there. So I have like watch lists and stuff built in there.
I just put in is blank streaming, and it shows me, look, it's streaming here.
Where is that?
It's like, it tells me the price of it too, if it's not all, free for streaming.
There used to be a really good website, and I think they've got it working again now. It was canistream.it.
Yeah, the Can I Stream.
But for a while it was broken, so I don't know if it's 100% fixed now.
Yeah, I remember that one because I like that service. But but it was just one of those weird things where I was sitting there like, because we hadn't put my Amazon Prime on that Roku yet because we got a new Roku for a third TV upstairs, and so it was like having to shoot the QR code and get the account on there, and then did all of that just to find out no, what we were looking for wasn't on Amazon. That wasn't where we saw it, and it's like, now we have like 8 streaming services. It's like if you don't remember where something's at, that is kind of it can be a little pain in the butt. But we watched the first 2 episodes of our Station 11, which is really interesting. We were halfway through the second episode. It was bugging me like crazy who the main actress was. I couldn't remember where I'd seen her. And then before looking it up on IMDb, I remember it was like, oh shit, that's the new Terminator. It was Mackenzie Davis that played the newest Terminator in the last Terminator movie, is the main character in Station 11. And really, really fantastic actress and a really kind of interesting setup for a show where her character has a comic book that's like one of a kind that somebody printed that is the name of the show. The comic book is called Station 11, and something about that book is integrated into like why the world died, and basically the whole world had like a Captain Trips thing, but more like the military base where everybody died almost instantly when this like flu virus hit them, to where the world pretty much stops in a day. Where on, like in the Stand, like they had months to deal with it, and like people were dying slowly and slowly, and the virus got weaker as it went out. This seems to be like a post-apocalyptic world that's set up where pretty much a flu bug gets released, and everybody that gets it, like I think at the security guard at the hotel, they find him after 80 days of hiding in the apartment. They find the security guy dead at his desk. So like it hit him and he just dropped dead. So yeah, it's a weird setup for a post-apocalyptic world. But the main character was she was a Shakespearean actress when she's 8, and so now she's part of a traveling Shakespearean show where they go around the what's left of the world that's kind of rebuilt itself after 20 years, and they go around and perform plays. So it's like reintroducing entertainment to a post-apocalyptic world. So yeah, it's a traveling Shakespearean troupe in like a Mad Max world. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's an interesting show. 2 episodes in, I'm definitely looking forward to watching more of it. And then yeah, we still got to watch Witcher. We did finish. Yeah, we finished I think every other show that we've been watching except for Witcher. Which did or not? Yeah, we started watching the season 2 again and just fell asleep because there's a whole lot of talking going on in one of the episodes and we were tired. That's what I've been getting into.
Nice. Willie, why don't you finish things up for us? What you been getting into, sir?
So what I've been getting into, I got some nice artwork. One of was a late Christmas present, and I sent it to you guys in the Hangouts. I'll describe one of them's a little bit more risque. It's a painting a friend of mine did. It's of a nude woman, but she painted it herself and she gave it to me, and I was like, oh, I like having artistic friends. And the other one is a print that someone had framed, and I also love this too. So I have some good artwork on my wall now. The other one is of let's just say it looks like Jesus, but it's played by another person.
You might be going to hell, but I'm okay
that
with
one's
it.
Awesome.
I don't believe in that place, oh well.
This is the only acceptable white Jesus. I'll just say that.
Yeah, no, Ewan McGregor.
It's
okay, yeah.
Nick Cage with the hair from Con Air. That Nick Cage as Jesus, pretty much. And speaking of which, what I've also been getting into is I went to Best Buy and got some movies. One of being which, Prisoners of the Ghostland, starring Nick Cage.
Nice.
No, it was all right. It was all right. I was disappointed. I watched 20 seconds of the trailer. I was like, oh, I need to see no more. I want to go in blind. And I was like, oh, and this is sorry. You get your craziness in it, but it was like the story was. It was the story of the script. Was just that's all right. I also got The Green Knight, which I was curious in watching. I still have yet to watch The Green Knight.
I've heard it's good.
It looked good from the trailer. I mean, I want to see it.
It looks interesting.
I'm interested. But I also got Nobody with Bob Odenkirk.
Nice. Yeah, Nobody was pretty good.
I haven't watched it yet. I have it too.
What I'm going to say about it is it feels like it's like a parody of John Wick, but not being turned up to be in a farce, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Now it's not like Austin Powers the James Bond, because it's not a farce. It's it's like super muted with it being the parody, but it still is a parody. It's weird to say it like that. I hope you're getting what
I think so, yeah.
trying to get at. It's a concept, so it's really hard to describe. But yeah, it's just muted parody, and I enjoyed it a lot. There's the line that's in the trailer, so it's not going to spoil anything for you, Chris. Like, I'm gonna fuck you up. It's like, what was that, Bob Odenkirk? You're gonna do what? You're gonna fuck somebody up? All right, let's see this shit. Yeah. I did like where they went with the story. Like, I was so curious, like, where are they going with this story? Where's this going? Okay. They made some things with the wife, like, not make sense. Like, does she know? Does she not know? It was a little confusing. Not gonna lie. But yeah, good movie. Nobody. Good movie. I've also, speaking earlier, I've been playing The Witcher. Finally started it. I did start it about a year ago. Got through the tutorial area, White Orchard, and then just got to Hangman's Tree Crossing. But you're right. Yeah, right as soon as you come out, there's a big tree with a bunch of hung people on it. Yeah, and then I just got down the hill to the first town, and I had to save, quit, turn off the game, and then just didn't go back to it till now. And yes, it gets so much better after about 2 to 3 hours after you get to the Hangman's Crossing. That's when the game really picks up. Like, okay, fuck White Orchard, fuck this tree. This is what it is. Okay, I can get with this.
And I think that's why it didn't hook me the first time I tried playing it, because I didn't play long enough. So we were talking in pre-show. I plan on playing this once they drop the next gen patch for it.
I wouldn't mind replaying it when that happens.
That's fair. You gotta get a next gen console still, though.
Go fuck yourself.
Right now?
I see.
Yes.
Okay, I'll be back.
No, stay right there and do it. I want to watch you.
Back.
Look me in the eye.
No,
look me in the fucking eye.
Gross.
You give me those vinegar strokes.
Gross. I know. I plan on finishing Ghost of Tsushima, and then Guardians, and then I'm gonna start playing The Witcher.
Oh, you mean Guardians of the Galaxy right here that I can't fucking play for the same reason you can't? Well, I don't think it's for the same reason. It seems like your discs are just fucked up on your
phone.
I
think
I just got fucked.
I think I got a lemon batch of discs. Because if it was region specific, it would play. No, but I mean they might be lemon. But yeah, if it was region specific, I'd be able to play it on my PlayStation that's in here in the den because I still have it set to region 5. But yeah, everything I put it in, discs are unreadable. Yeah, so it actually made me go through all those other horror movies I bought. I broke them all out last night. I bought a 20 movie set of Hammer films. I bought 4 discs from. I got a 4-disc set of the Psycho movies. But I went through every. Yep, I went through every damn one of them. Put every single one of those in the PlayStation. Make sure they spun up and it showed a logo and would play. And then like the Hammer films didn't show a logo because literally it's like 3 films on each disc because it's a box set with 20 films of old 1970s horror movies. But yeah, when I hit play on it, the PlayStation would bring it up and start bringing it, start playing the intro thing and then actually pull up a menu. So I was like, okay, every other disc I got is fine. It's just this one goddamn movie. And what's shitty is like you go on like Amazon or anything, you can't get like just a copy of Dawn of the Dead. Like the DVDs are like $80. Like
fucking weird.
Yeah, because I don't know why the George Romero Dawn of the Dead is so hard to buy.
Download it, man. There's no one owns the rights to it, man. Dawn of the Dead.
You're thinking,
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I already know. I fucked up.
Yep. Night of the Living Dead doesn't have a copyright.
Retract whatever I just said. As Night of the Living Dead, I know. I fucked up my brain. You're right.
Yeah, Night of the Living Dead doesn't have a copyright. Dawn of the Dead apparently has a copyright that someone's really stingy about and doesn't want to print enough DVDs so that everybody can have one because I can't find the goddamn thing.
Oh yeah, and also if you want to pirate a movie, one movie that I wouldn't care if you pirate Dogma. Go for it. Who cares? You can't stream it. You can't. Yeah.
I actually own the collector's edition DVD of Dogma.
I did. I don't know where it is.
It's one of the best. Because that is a movie that's hard to find now.
If you want to stream it, you can ask real nice. I'll give you my Plex server access.
Well, I'm just saying, Kevin Smith saying, fuck them because it's
because it's still owned by Miramax.
Weinstein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like fuck you, Weinstein. He's like, I ain't signing off on it, letting stream. Go fuck yourself.
I did forget one other thing I was into. Watched the second episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Did y'all watch that?
Yes.
No. The first episode was just meh.
I saw the greatest tweet ever where someone said they were watching with their 6-year-old girl, and as a new character was introduced, she said, "Is that evil Chewie?" Yes, it is.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, man.
Well, too fucking bad because you don't read the comics.
You know what? I'm not watching Book of Boba. You can go fuck yourself. That first episode was
and you don't read
anyway.
You don't read the comics. You don't read the comics, so you probably wouldn't be that excited about this character anyways. But yeah, there's a badass Wookiee that's been brought into live action named Black K. And Black K is one of the meanest motherfuckers in the galaxy.
Is it because he's black?
Kind of. Yeah, his fur is black. But yeah, his name is Black Chrysantan, and so most people call him Black K because Chrysantan's really fucking hard to say.
It just goes back to, hey, it's Black Falcon.
Exactly. It's just Falcon Kid. Yeah, but yeah, Black
my
K
dad
got brought up in the new Boba Fett episode, and he looks fucking awesome. Yeah.
And then other than that, I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife last week. Was pleasantly surprised by it. It was a good movie. It is better than the all-female Ghostbusters movie, which I still say is not that bad. It did not deserve the hate it got. It wasn't a great movie, it was good at best, but it wasn't bad at all. It was not bad by any stretch.
I guess we could have made a small story out of the fact that the all-female Ghostbusters wasn't going to be included in the new box set that includes all the Ghostbusters movies, but now it's being added as a digital code, so you can have it as part of the Ultimate Edition box set of Ghostbusters movies.
What is cool about the all-female Ghostbusters movie is this is when Sony was doing they were messing with split depth. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were messing with it. I'm not sure if they did in the theater or if it was just in the home release. But you know the black bars, top and bottom, right?
Yeah.
They for like action scenes or like the big things. Sometimes some things would extend through those black bars. They cut it out by what's the term? They rotoscoped it out and they had it going through. Yeah, because so it looks like gives it like some 3D-ness without actually being 3D.
Without making a 3D movie.
Split depth. Huh. Yeah. They did mess with that because I was like noticing. Oh yeah, I did hear about that. I can't remember what other movies they did it with. It was Ghostbusters and I can't remember any other ones. There was like at least one other one that also did it. I think Men in Black maybe the international. I can't remember.
Oh, that could be. That was also Sony too.
It's a cool idea.
And it seems like the right type of movie for it.
And then we started a new campaign on D&D to take a break from our regular campaign that's reached like a stopping point before a big thing gives the DM to work on the big thing that's about to happen that we were working up to. And we have 2 new DMs that are going to take turns. And this pretty much is all new characters, a whole new world. We're pretty much Harry Potter and Hogwarts, pretty much, to simplify it a lot. I think this is an official module of D&D, I think. Strixhaven schools, I think. I'm not sure. I'm just going with it. But you're looking at the fucking Lance Masters. He's the wild mage sorcerer. So I was figuring my last character, what did he do? He punched. He's a monk who punched. Let me go with a wild mage. And he's like, and we're all in like, I guess like high school setting. We're all like 15. And so we're going through school. We have to choose which house. I think that's how it works. You have to choose which house you go into. Kind of like Hogwarts, Slytherin, like kind of like that. Which was whatever. But yeah. My character is like going to be like the prankster guy. Kind of like always pulling pranks. Kind of like a Bulk and Scully. Bulk and Skull?
Bulk and Skull.
Just Skull, not Scully? Oh yeah, Mulder and Scully. That's probably where my brain's going to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But like being like a prankster, but like a lovable prankster. That's where it's going. That's the idea of. The first day we did it, my best friend Arthur was talking to one of the second year guy or some douchebag Owlin. And so pretty much I used prestidigitation. I can never say that.
Prestidigitation.
That's it. I used that cantrip to make him look like he shit himself, or made it smell like he shit himself. So yeah, that's what I did the first day.
Impressive.
Because he was messing with my best friend, man. I ain't gonna be having that. Make it smell like he shit himself. Well, to be fair, I mean, if he's an Owlin, I think Owlin's right. I would assume they're just like owls, where they don't have a sphincter, so they don't really control when things come out. Like birds don't, but birds don't have sphincters. They also don't have a separate urination and anal tract. It's all one thing. Yeah, you're learning shit today, right, kids?
I don't want to learn stuff, Willie.
Well, you're learning shit anyway.
No,
you're literally learning shit.
No.
Yeah, and they can't control it. It just comes out when it comes out because they don't have a sphincter to tighten it, to make sure it doesn't. Yeah, that's bird knowledge now that you have now from me to you. The gift.
Thank
Sunday.
you.
Sunday gift. And other than that, yeah, I'm just out of idea. Yeah, where I don't know.
That's fair.
But
I guess that's going to wrap things up for us. So before we shut down, friendly reminder, we do stream this show live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at www.geeks.live. That is the streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network. So please come watch us there. Go watch some other content there. Trying to think what else we got. You guys got any final thoughts for the people before I hit the button and start signing us out?
Oh, I do.
Oh, God.
I do.
I need to be ready to play you off, don't I?
Be afraid.
If you're not Team
afraid.
Cap, you're Team Nazi. Out.
Whatever, man. I'm just gonna let him continue to live his delusion. We're getting out of here. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us. And until then, have a good week, folks. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.